Greetings and salutations, and welcome to Flintlocks and Fireballs, where a handful of man actors will attempt to survive the treacherous waters of Dungeons and Dragons. I am your host and Dungeon Master Jason Phelps, and I am joined as ever by Robbie Humdrum Bellekom, Sam Toot Flute Burns, and Ellie Scornhorn Sparrow.
Oh, fuck yeah, Scornhorn. I didn't know how you could top Toot Flute, but Scornhorn is very fun.
Like a bum. It sounds like a bum to me. It's a name for a farty bum.
Everything sounds like a bum to you.
This is true. It took a while for me to find, like, a PG-13 rhyme for horn, weirdly. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, that... Okay. Speaking of PG-13, it's time for us to cast our minds in a parental guidance appropriate manner into the...
On this podcast? Where are we?
Well, into the midst
Children,
of
if
the
you're
future,
listening, go away. You're not welcome here.
and demand future us what... child-appropriate messages. Actually, I think I know what the next messages are, and they are not for a they are very much not for a child-friendly product. So please, Futurists, tell us what messages from the present. It's Future Jason with messages from the present. We recently had the delightfully ghoulish experience of playing a demo of Doomsong, an upcoming horror TTRPG set in a brutal plaguescape. Created by Caesar Inc. at Caesar Inc. on social media, we took on the roles of 4 hapless gravediggers on a quest to save the world, in a world where God is dead, hell is full, and death is not the end, despite our best efforts to the contrary. Our host was Jack Caesar, who you may remember as the Goblin King from our previous collaboration demoing the Labyrinth RPG. This Doomsong miniseries was recorded, and you can find the videos and more about the Doomsong Kickstarter through the link in the description. Back to you, Past Jason.
You 100% made it sound like we were selling sex toys just then.
It really did.
Yeah.
This episode of Flintlocks and Fireballs is sponsored by Ann Summers. Get a big dildo today. Love Future Jason.
By those
Gotta say,
shops up the A1. Why are there 4 sex shops on the A1? I don't know why.
What are they all doing there? Is it a particular
I can't stop
kink
talking
route?
about them. I keep thinking about them and getting so confused.
Specifically the A1 as well, yeah.
And they're like,
no
sex superstore! Like,
So
it's
Anna
real
Summers
weird.
was not the product that my mind went to, but it was a good choice.
Where was your mind?
I mean, it's a Dungeons and Dragons themed podcast, and that is all I am going to say on the matter.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh no, I'm there. Yeah, cool. We're all there now.
Yeah.
Join us in the gutter.
Gunther has returned.
Oh, hello!
Oh.
Sponsoring this episode.
I miss him.
Oh, goodness. Though I
There's a
suspect...
mosquito flying around my head. Go away, you bastard. Go away. He's
Oh,
so
it's
loud.
a saucy
He's so
mosquito.
persistent.
Oh, a saucy mosquito.
She's just after a mouthful,
Oh god, why are you like this?
so that she can produce the necessary proteins to lay her eggs.
Yeah.
It's why they drink blood.
Yeah.
Yes, but if Gunter says it, it's weird.
And on that cheerful note,
Oh yeah.
it's time to begin.
Talk to me about
Flintlocks
your cheerful notes.
and Fireballs.
Everything's fine.
Our land stands on the sabre's edge.
Our cities are a powder keg.
Brother chains, brother, no one's free. A life on land is short, you'll see.
So gather your muskets, gather your spears, we'll plunder the shores of Calcinea. No kraken, storm, or spell we fear, so come and sail with us, my dear.
Previously on Flintlocks and Fireballs.
Oh, good luck summing this up into a previously.
Bums.
Butt staircase.
Bums,
Only
bums,
covers it.
bums.
There was actually a bit more than butt staircase.
Was there? I remember it.
aspect.
But staircase.
But staircase. Buttio case, notwithstanding. Butt case of stairs. The weird new halfling NPCs notwithstanding. The party continue making their way through the Cirrus Citadel, having briefly challenged and withdrawn from an animate steel statue of a sufficiently armed hobgoblin woman bathed in golden light from above. The party stepped behind a not a portrait but a landscape to discover a series of a hidden and fantastical chasm with a series of workshops concealed behind it. After discovering a room with many powders and many liquids and 8 fantasy hazmat suits, for want of a better term, one of which was destroyed in an explosion that definitely involved some liquid magnesium.
I didn't do it. I did do it.
Don't know
It's
what
a
you're
lie.
talking about. You, Tyler, you very much did.
Scamp did some miniature painting on a magical frame, created a disembodied butt out of the ground,
My butt.
which Celestia then proceeded to slap, as well as a rope bridge to another workshop where they discovered several disembodied arms and legs and successfully discerned their weaknesses through trial and error. They then returned to the main chamber and took the magical paint set after I must add, making sure to successfully mix the pigments with, I believe it was oil that you settle.
No, it was watercolour.
Oh, was it watercolour?
Yeah.
Okay. Mixing the pigments with gum arabic as a binder in, what did you call
Gum
it?
arabic is the binder. Gum arabic, water, and you mould them. You
And
mould
mull,
them with a muller.
yes, and a muller.
If you want the paint lecture, go to last episode.
Yes, paint. See episode 183 for extensive discussion
For
of
paint
paints.
info dump, yeah.
Scamp proceeded to paint a means of ascending to the top of the chasm past the howling and seemingly certainly impassable by flight winds separating the lower parts of the chasm from the upper, by creating a staircase of buttocks of
Bums.
all manner and types. Rooted, I remind you, by legs, stretching all the way down to the canyon. Not connected to anything else except each other. And flanked by red velvet guard ropes with a disconcertingly intestinal feel.
Because you've got to be swanky.
Yeah,
Indeed.
plush.
Swanky butts.
You ascend the butt case, the stairway to butt heaven.
The staircase of buttholes.
Yeah. Butt. I mean,
We have not established if there are buttholes. We have not
I
checked.
would like to check immediately. I want to check if there's a
no.
hole. I want to know. Also,
Details
just
that I
as a
couldn't
side
have
note,
drawn, are they still there?
I just had a
That's the
sort
question.
of out-of-body experience listening to the previously on, as I'm sure we all did, but specifically mine manifested as, imagine if this is someone's first episode.
Wow.
They, listen to that previously on. Do you think they just, you walk into a room and you look at what's happening, you just turn around and leave? Do you think some poor soul one day has just done that?
No, please
Perhaps.
don't
I kind of
throw
hope
away.
so.
the classic nope. No.
But, I just wonder if that's happened to someone, because that is like one of our more insane previous vions that we've maybe ever had.
Okay, nudging a buttock aside with your boot.
Oh my god, are you actually letting me check for a butthole? I will 100%
There
check for a
does
butthole.
appear to be
Have you, in
there
fact,
doesn't-
checked?
Have you checked a butthole? Yes! I'm checking it right now.
you do observe a tightly closed sphincter.
Oh. I can't believe you just said the words tightly closed sphincter on air with your human mouth.
It's not even the first time he's
It's
used
not.
the word sphincter.
He's not said the exact words tightly closed sphincter though.
Yes, and we'll all embrace the mercy of the fact that it is tightly closed.
Yeah, this is true.
Like, unless you are planning to do more investigation than that.
Oh. It is a good job Sabnet is not here.
I want to put something weird in it. I just want to find like a pencil or something and just see if it goes. I'm going to put a pencil in the butthole. I can't stop myself. That's who I am. Yep.
Nor indeed does it appear that the butthole can stop you. At least,
I mean, it's not a person, so it's fine.
No,
it's
it's
not a
not.
sentient staircase.
yeah.
I did not make
we
the butt
hope.
sentient.
At
It's not intentionally.
the butt does not like the beyond like a sort of passive resistance.
Oh god.
The butt does not react notably. You're able to insert the pencil 1 inch and then it hits resistance,
Right.
which it cannot pass.
So she just looks down and goes, well, I think that pencil's staying here, really.
I mean, it's there. You could pull it out and take it.
I'm gonna pull it out. Does it have any mysterious things on it?
It is clean. It is very clean on the
Cool.
on the end that you've pulled out.
Right.
Well, I suppose we don't really have a flag, do we?
I mean,
Oh,
we could
can
do.
we make a
We
flag?
absolutely could. I
Can
have
we
the
make a
paint.
flag? Do it. What are we putting on the
It's
flag?
a lot of paint. I don't. Do we want to? Oh no, we have to, don't we? I was going to say
We
don't
actually
do
have
want
to.
use up the. No, we absolutely have to.
I'm sorry, you've used paint on a bum staircase. I feel like the bar, like a
It
threshold
was
has
a
been
very
crossed.
small bum staircase when I was drawing it.
Okay, so I believe I established the rules for this last time. Are you going to go back to the room to the room with the painting and like draw this flag onto the painting, or are you going to like try and draw it on like a nearby rock or something?
What have I instigated?
I mean, I've got paper. I could just draw it.
Yeah,
on
or on paper.
And I'll do like those little flags that you put on cars, like little car
Yeah.
flags. That sort of size.
Flags that you put on what?
Like on cars.
Oh yeah.
Weird little ones they have in windows.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a sorcerer watching and judging us so hard right now. Can you imagine
yeah.
how hard we're being judged at this second?
They're just like praying that none of us are them. Like absolutely
Please.
not. Please don't let any
Save
of these
me.
absolute tossers be me.
There's got to be like some morbid fascination, surely, though.
Like, I know we're quite often assholes in D&D, but I just really feel like...
This is really quite taking it very literally.
Yeah, I just feel like we've hit a new low.
Cool. What do you put on the flag?
What do we put on the flag?
Oh.
Is it the Kraken's Bane flag, or is it...
Yeah,
Is
no,
it does
has
it
to be,
involve a
doesn't it?
bum? Yeah.
It
Does the
absolutely
Kraken
has
have a
to.
big butt in it?
I draw the Kraken's big butt.
But like the exact Kraken's Bane flag, but the Kraken has a butt in a way that it normally doesn't.
Roll me a painting check, please.
Oh, what did we decide this was?
I think it was your choice of wisdom or wisdom, intelligence, or dexterity plus proficiency.
Yeah, because isn't it like the Kraken being impaled by the prow of the ship?
I think my dex is probably my highest, and I'm proficient. So... I've lost my character sheet.
Oh no.
I found it, but I just have to open it. What with it being digital? Okay, so that is +5. So that is 19.
It's pretty
I
decent.
don't know why it has this voice though.
It's a pretty decent watercolor rendering when it comes down to it. After a few minutes of sketching it out, painting it up with... I mean, it's a decent watercolor rendering. You work fast. I'm going to go to the expert in the room. How long should this take?
What? I mean, that depends on like so many things.
I know. But if you were doing this, if you were going to just do like a relatively quick sketch,
like a quick sketch of a shitty flag.
Of a shitty flag, but with like this
but with
design.
like vague levels of detail. I don't
Yeah.
know, like not long. Like I want to say like 5 to 10 minutes.
Cool.
And that's being like if I'm being detailed on the
Yeah,
flag. If I was being like really like hyper rendery about it, you
Oh.
could push it to like half an hour. But
Yeah.
and I mean, if you're being really hyper rendery about anything, you could push it to forever.
Oh,
but yeah. If it's basic, like 5-10 minutes.
I mean, are you taking 5 minutes or 10 minutes on this?
5 minutes.
5 minutes, okay. With a 19,
Good decision.
it appears that
Make
that the paints are deliberately somewhat forgiving of an impressionistic style. And when you kind of declare it done, reach down and sort of your fingers touch page, but as you bring them in towards the edges of the drawing, you feel them sort of connect with something. At first it's like a sort of almost like a fizzing sort of sensation, and then as you and then you feel and you watch as the illusion of depth becomes actual depth, and the flag slightly rises out of the paper, and you are able to grip, pull, and then pull it out slightly, grip round, get a full grip on the little flagpole, and pull it completely out of the paper, leaving basically bare paper behind and like a couple of little errant brush strokes here and there. The finished flag is real. It has the bizarre experience of looking a little bit like a flag made of just wooden flagpole and canvas, but which itself has been painted in watercolor.
Huh.
Cool.
Well, I made a flag.
I
I'm not
like
putting
it.
it in the
Very
butt.
good one.
It flutters aggressively in the breeze, as there are strong winds.
I mean, Corzin, do you want to put it in the butt? Is this an experience you want? If not, I'll do it.
No,
But I mean-
I won't deny you on this one, but that is just not something you see every day, is it?
So
I hope not.
So do you
I
want to
wouldn't
put
want
it
to
in
be
the butt?
derivative.
Or Shanty, do you want to put it in the butt? Victory, I feel weird asking you because you're a bit young, so I'm not going to do that.
I feel I'm gonna leave this one to the
It
adults.
just feels like a weird thing for an adult to ask, like a younger person. So I'm not going to say that
Yeah,
sentence to you with
yeah.
my mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Shanty, I mean, if you you can put a thing in a butt if you want to.
Hold up. Decided this was a why not roll for Shanty's experience here.
Wait,
Uh,
Shanty's experience with putting things in butts. That's an incredible roll.
Shanty goes, yeah, no.
Cool, I'll do it. I'll put the flag in the butt.
Again, it goes in about an inch and then hits a sort of like a sort
Why are
of
we
firm,
like this?
unyielding resistance.
No, man.
But as you release the butt flag, it does.
But
The sphincter does seem to hold it in place.
God.
It catches the wind and it wobbles, flailing a bit side to side. But you have successfully planted your flag in one of the
One of the
bottommost butts of the butt kiss.
that certainly happened.
You know, when I woke up this
That was the
morning,
last 10 minutes of this The last 10 minutes of this episode was crafting a flag to put into...
It was a very important experiment of using the paint on something other than the canvas.
Yeah, it was actually very sensible,
Yeah,
Jason.
yeah.
Did you hear that justification that Robbie just did? Because I was impressed personally. Like, it's a load of shit, but it was good shit.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Today I was like, I don't think we can do weirder than last episode. Like, we might have peaked, but then I stuck
We've already
my pretend
exceeded the
pencil
weird of last
in a
episode.
butthole, and then we made a flag to also go in the butthole. And yeah, that
You had
happened.
to check your butthole. It was very important.
I just, as soon as it was mentioned, I don't have impulse control today. Like, I can't describe to you how feral and weird I am this evening. There was absolutely no way I wasn't putting something in the butt.
And there it remains.
Yep. For future generations to find.
Do you think it'll reset, like, this world when we leave? Or is the next sorcerer going to get here and just be really judgmental of whoever's room this is?
I actually really hope it doesn't reset, but I think it probably will,
I
because
hope
if it
to fuck this resets.
because if it was mine, I mean, I don't know if I'd reset it, but I feel like if somebody just made this out of the blue, like in my house, yeah, I'd maybe keep it, but I don't think most people would, to be
That might
honest.
be an unusual response.
I wonder if he, like, you know, like, whoever this sorcerer is just, like, catalogues all the different attempts that come through. Is there just
Is there like a gallery?
a gallery of various things? Like, for all we know,
Yeah, just
everyone
like the
makes
paintings
staircases.
with what people painted on.
Yeah, I mean, a gallery would be fun. I feel like we've ruined
I'd
it,
have that.
if there is one. Like, I legitimately feel
they'll
like we
get
might
to
have
ours and
ruined
it'll just
it.
be a burnt canvas. Like, no one can see this. Kill it with fire. I feel like we're not getting, like, a boon from this room.
I feel like they might be
Shanti
judging us.
just pinches the bridge of her nose and then starts ascending the butt case.
Are you judging us, Shanti? Is that what's happening? Because I think maybe you should be, actually. I was about to be like, don't judge us,
Shanti
and
has earned the right.
no, fair, yep.
Well, one can't deny it's certainly a case of original thinking.
You are
Yeah,
such a
there is
supportive dad. Did you hear what a supportive dad he just
know,
tried to
that's
be?
bad.
Well, it's certainly interesting. One of those.
You begin making your way
Does
up
what it was
the
supposed to do.
staircase.
The criteria has been fulfilled, just not in the way that maybe anyone else might have thought of.
Anyone else alive would have ever thought of. No.
The staircase is not the most stable construction, but bearing in mind the painting check you did last time, it does the job.
Be careful, that one wobbled.
Oh, the whole thing wobbles. Not just the actual buttocks, but the actual, like, bearing in mind you're going through high winds this whole time.
Oh, we know.
So
Butts are not the most sound building material. We have
High
learned this.
winds. Yeah.
indeed.
The
However,
story of the three little pigs, the one who built his house out of butts. And the one puffed and blew it away.
I don't remember that section of the story, Robbie. Is that bit in the well-known story, the three little pigs?
um,
I don't recall that
Built out
part.
of sticks, the one who builds it out of bricks, and the one who builds it out of butts.
sticks
I
and
do remember,
bricks
yeah,
may
yeah.
break my bones, but butts
will never.
That's not it. That's not at all related to that story.
Like, it is not late at night enough to excuse this behaviour from any of us. It really isn't.
We haven't recorded in 2 weeks. How was this still?
We just picked up, like, straight where we left off. We were like, let's fucking go.
Okay. So, climbing butt mountain.
Yep.
You, yeah, the horrifying and Escher-like as your decision to give all of these butts like legs that extend down, long, slender man-like, spider-like, into the abyss below. It probably provides it with some level of stability. If nothing else, it does certainly provide a deeply disconcerting experience when the whole thing sways like a rope bridge from side to side, and you can just see the many pairs of legs just like swaying with the butts rooted down below. Nevertheless, you are. It is stable enough that you don't need to make any checks to avoid being blown away. Even the intestinal velveteen rope is enough to provide enough purchase that you are, after really the better part of 20 minutes, just slowed down by how much wind there is, reach the top of the chasm. From this vaunted position, you are now able to see the sort of temple-like edifice at the very top of the crevasse. Built of smooth white stone. It is, as I recall, vaguely sort of pagoda. Well, I say pagoda-like in structure. I'm actually going to just double-check a reference. Because I think that it's actually more annoyingly if I look at the actual... If I actually Google the name, I just... Towers of Hanoi, I just get the puzzle. But the actual sort of pagoda-like towers at the Temple of Hanoi is not dissimilar in appearance to. Though, in this, as I say, largely made of white stone with sort of red, with a sort of terracotta reddish orange accents highlighting the levels as they go on. The base of it is wider and rounder, and up near the very top of the tower there is an oculus, a hole, a round hole that seems to emit a beam of almost blinding, if you kind of look directly into it, golden light that streams in a straight line well above you, at least like 150 feet above the sort of ground level at the top of the crevasse, and off into the distance. Literally to the point where atmospheric haze makes it hard to tell where it's going to. You would, though, you would guess that it probably ends up in the chamber where you started, because it's the exact same appearance and intensity as the golden light that was illuminating the steel statue. There is one visible entrance at the base of the tower, and you can see a sort of golden glow coming from within.
Oh.
Well, looks like somebody's left the lights on.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I suppose we have to pop in, really, don't we?
I think we do.
We kind of do.
Okay. You make your way up to the tower, ascend a small set of white stone and terracotta steps, and you find yourself in a simple atrium through which you can see there are basically three sort of wide doorways. And when I say wide, I'm going to say for convenience. Yeah, we're going to say just about 12 feet in width for essentially all 4 of the doorways. So the doorway that you've just come in through, the doorway directly ahead, the doorway to the left, and the doorway to the right.
So round, boy.
Yep.
Yeah, how tall are the doors?
The doors are also 10 foot. Are also 12 foot in height. So think of so they are.
Square, friends.
Yeah, they're almost square. They are actually slightly rounded at the sort of top left and top right of each frame to give them a little bit of structural support.
Big doors for big people?
So I'm going to describe what you can see. Directly ahead of you, in what appears to be the centre of the tower, you can see there is, through a short corridor, you can see what appears to be a golden beam of light.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yep, vertically, just straight up from the ground and up presumably up to the top of the tower. It's kind of painful to look at, and you can't really see past it. You can just make out that there is some sort of narrow walkway that extends around it to either side. As the beam itself is 10 foot in diameter, so it's slightly smaller than the doorway. You can then see there are 2 rooms to the left and right. To the left, you can see there is a room. All of the rooms here, by the way, are essentially made out of the same white stone material with decorative accents in apparently terracotta.
Oh god, this person likes tasteful decor.
Yes, yes, they do.
Ruined everything.
Oh no.
There are small, although there's not a lot of iconography, there are sort of arabesque style geometric patterns lovingly worked into every surface.
Oh dear. I
It
feel bad, but only a little, because they were tasteful butts.
was also really funny.
Yeah, no, that's too.
You're
very
denying
much
that.
following the same sort of pattern and theme. So to your left, you can see a room that is just full of racks. I'm going to say, for convenience, wooden racks filled with various tools and other objects, which you can look at in more detail if you go into that room. And to the right, you can see that a room that appears to be divided in half by some sort of huge glass wall, which seems to have a door built into it, also of glass. You can just make out in both rooms that they have doorways on the other side of those rooms that may well lead to further rooms beyond them. I'm gonna be clear because I know people are drawing. Ellie, I know that you're mapping this out, so I'm going to say that the rooms.
Thank you.
Right.
That the as you go through the rooms, they are following the circle of the tower, so they do sort of wrap around it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, so of your 3 rooms, big old beam in the centre, room with racks and tools to the left, and room with big old glass dividing wall to the right. Where would you like to go?
Okay. Corzin's going to go up to the beam and just put the end of the belaying pin in it to see if it burns.
Ooh,
Oh,
cool.
yes, it does. It
Okay,
almost instantly begins to. It almost instantly chars and very quickly starts just disintegrating.
Whoa, okay.
Well,
You have to pat out the
We've learned
Thank
flames.
you for doing that. Wow. Okay.
glad no one stuck a hand in it.
It does appear.
Yeah, well, I
Or a
figured-
tongue.
Yeah.
It does appear that the walkway that goes around the that central beam is just wide enough that you can uncomfortably, but without risk, sort of sidestep your way around the beam if you needed to.
I would recommend that you do that if you want to keep your face intact.
I am generally quite fond of my face, so
Should we look at these tools?
Yeah, let's have a look at
I'll
that.
have a look.
yeah.
You head back into the atrium and go left. So this room is filled with racks of a wide variety of different tools. Mostly, it would appear made of a mixture of steel, copper, what you recognise as mithril in a couple of cases, notably including different types of various pipes, literally not even in the sense of like smoking pipes, but just like long tubes, shovels, sets of tongs, a number of buckets with some with handles, many without, which appear to be made of white stone, or at least a stone-like material. That
I would like to pick up a bucket.
Okay, there are different sizes of white stone-like material bucket, from thimble-sized to. I'm going to say that the largest is like. You know the vats you tread grapes in to make wine?
Yeah.
Like that big. But there are smaller ones throughout. So there's basically every variation. Well, not every single variation, but there are steps of variation in between. So what size of bucket would you like to pick up?
I would like one that was about the size that you'd build a sandcastle with.
Aww.
Okay.
I just want a bucket suddenly. I just really like the idea of having a bucket.
Okay, it's hefty, but not as hefty as you would expect. It's definitely, this feels about the weight that you would expect from, say, a terracotta, like a sort of terracotta vase, but not something made out of like granite or the like. So it's fairly hefty carrying this, but you are able to get a pretty solid bucket of this sort of white stone-like material.
This is a good bucket.
That is a very good bucket.
It looks like a good bucket.
It doesn't really. So I'm going to say there are a couple of variants of this. One with what appears to be a steel handle with some sort of cork, literally like handle grip on it, and one without. Both of which have a notable sort of like lip around the edge. There are other tools here as well that I'll describe quickly. There's a variety of just like various workshop tools. Enough that you can kind of go to this tool shed and ask, is there a tool like this? And I'll give you a yes or no. But in addition...
Ooh, everyone check their proficiencies for tools.
Yeah. But I will note that there are also at least 4 objects, other objects that stand out, and one set of objects that stands out. The first 4 objects are giant wheels, approximately 10 foot in diameter. 3 of them appear to be made of some sort of really thick You want to say felt, but only one of them appears to actually be made of felt. The other two seem like they're made of, well, felt-like darker materials. They all three of them definitely seem to be made of some sort of distinct material, but they are pressed together in a sort of felt-like manner. The fourth giant wheel is made of white stone. It is also about 10 foot tall. It's, I'm going to say, it's about 2 foot thick. So it's this thing's hefty. You can see that it's held in place by little wooden chocks that you could remove and roll or like lift with a team of people. And looking at it on one side, you can see that it has 6 odd sort of holes in it that don't go all the way through it. They only extend. I said this thing was 2 foot thick. I'm going to say these extend about 8 inches into the wheel, and they're arranged in sort of almost sort of hexagonal pattern, space around the wheel. The big felt-like wheels are also about 2 foot thick. Finally, you see a rack that has a series of odd masks. It's pretty clear what they are. They appear to be masks made from leather or some sort of leather-like substance with an odd little rubbery ring around the outside. They come with belts that can be used to tighten them around the head. And they have glass, what appear to be glass eye shields, and very odd noses, almost like a sort of truncated elephant's trunk that ends in some sort of strange round filter.
Gas mask.
Yeah, there's real "Are You My Mummy?"
Fantasy gas mask.
Right,
vibes
yeah.
from this. And that is everything of note in this room.
Cool. Lots of things.
There's a lot of things.
Many things.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
are
don't
these
know.
supposed to be, like, assembled in some way?
I'm going to say that maybe we put on these weird mask things before we poke around with anything.
I mean, the suits were pretty useful, weren't they?
Yeah.
If it's like safety shit, maybe that's a good
Yeah.
idea.
I wonder, I think I saw a tapestry with some people wearing something like this before.
Where?
I think it was in, might have been in Brighthall, actually.
Huh.
Yeah, the Brighthall
Yeah.
tapestry.
Up to some weird shit in Brighthall, apparently.
Scrolling 2 checks for Shanty. Shanty looks at the masks and the various equipment and goes, "Yeah, I've no idea how to use any of this, or what. I mean, I know what the shovel's for, but interestingly, I do know how to weave a tapestry.
No way!
Oh.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I feel like I could weave tapestries pretty well, actually."
Huh.
Adding Shanty's skill and aptitude list, skilled tapester.
Do you like making tapestries? Is that, like, fun?
I remember enjoying making tapestries.
Ah.
Though at the time I also remember being someone who enjoyed making tapestries. I don't know if I enjoy making tapestries. I just have a feeling that I'd be quite good at it.
Well, I mean, if you fancy making a tapestry, I'm sure you can get your shit when we get home.
Do people still make tapestries?
Yeah,
Is that a thing?
that's a thing. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, as far as I know.
I mean, if you decide you like it, we could always commission you for a ship tapestry.
I mean, given that I have no money, yeah, I'll take that. I've got a job.
Yay!
something.
Yeah. So you've got a job.
I've got
Look
a
at
job and a phone, and I can make tapestries and cook.
you. Yeah. Yep.
I can't sail a ship though.
That's fine. We can do
No,
that bit.
that's alright.
We have other people for that. That's not a problem.
And you can learn if you like. If you want to be good at ships,
Yeah.
you can learn.
Oh, that's something to look forward to.
Yeah.
If we ever leave the place full of weird tests and
We will. We will.
and giant staircases. I mean,
I can't promise there won't be bot staircases wherever we go.
I
That
mean,
is
clearly
no promise
not.
I'm willing to make.
That would be an unreliable promise.
Yeah.
I'm going to try one of these masks on.
Cool.
Yeah, let's all put a mask on.
You try strapping the masks on. There are a variety of sizes, and while they take a little bit of adjustment, you are able to get them on. They're a little difficult to... they make communication slightly harder. You are able to talk through them and understand each other, but it does mean that if you're shouting things at distance...
Sounds a bit like you're in the vents on Age of Adventure.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm in the vents.
I can go left, right, or forwards.
Oh, God. If you
I
ever
wanted
played
to
Age
go
of
left.
Adventure...
Okay, well, at this point, there is no left. Do you mean right? Yes.
If any of you played Age of Adventure, which I know some of you did, that bit was literally you just put your hand over your mouth.
Yeah, that's
what we all
literally
did.
all we did.
I didn't
all
I
of the
didn't even
time.
do that.
You were just
Right,
like, I'm in the
vent.
vents. It's happened. Yeah, what do you want?
I always did the thing where I put them like either side of my mouth, so the voice would still like travel
This is
straight
to, like,
through.
vaguely mask it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, you can audibly understand each other in the same room. But if you need to like shout between rooms and you're not using the sending stones, it will get a little more difficult. However, you do find that. Well, actually, you don't find any obvious immediate difference, apart from the fact that your face is a bit warm, the air tastes a little stale, and weirdly slightly of charcoal, and if you don't control your breathing, you steam up the lenses.
I maybe hate this.
Yeah, it's not nice, is it?
I
But
just
it's
wanted
fine.
it to
We'll
be
make it
known.
work. Jeffrey, keep it on, Jeffrey. You have got to keep it on.
Oh, him in a creepy mask is harrowing, if I'm honest.
Jeffrey just stares up at you in the gas mask,
Oh, fuck.
wielding the knife on a stick that is his spear.
Good work. Well done.
Oh,
What was the game with a monkey? There was a game with a monkey in a gas mask. I'm sure of it. What was it?
Oh, what was... I feel like there was, yeah.
10 out of 10 for intimidation there, Jeffrey.
Looking great.
So, where or what would you like to? Where would you? Where would you like to do now? Where would you like to go now?
I'm probably the other room, one imagines.
Yes, sorry. I
Yeah.
should mention actually there is another room that goes on. If you would continue onward, so from here you can either go back to the atrium or you can continue on to another room which appears to have some sort of huge vat in it, and there is also a small little doorway that leads into the central towards the central blinding pillar of light.
Okay, I don't want to go near that. That thing's awful.
No, I'm not really into that. I quite like the glass room, that looks interesting.
Let's go have a little look-see at it.
Okay, you head back to the atrium and into the and along. So, I will say that again in this room there is a smaller doorway that leads to the blinding pillar of light, and another doorway that leads to a room that is from which you can hear a sort of ominous rumbling. This room, however, is fairly Spartan. There is decorative patterning on this side of this room. The other side is clean, smooth, white stone, and it is divided in half along the middle by a massive glass wall with what appears to be a built-in doorway. The doorway has has a sort of metallic locking latch mechanism built into it. It looks like it would probably, if you'd need to release both latches, but then you can see it's hinged in a way that you could pull the doorway wide open, and wide enough that you could fit something up to 15 foot in any dimension through. The room beyond is a little bit larger than a 15-foot cube, and there, as is the room on this side. Beyond the giant doorway, the only other object is a small box made of metal at the very base of the glass door, which is currently closed. You do see that it has a little latch, and it looks like it can be opened. And there is a glyph in gigantic that is on the top of the box. Which
can I read it?
Yes. It broadly speaking, it could translate as go or do or activate.
Ooh.
All right.
If you wanted to, in a sense, you could say on.
All right. Does something.
Oh, we can all read it, can't we? Because of the language boon.
And indeed, with the language boon, you can all perceive its meaning.
Oh, cool, yeah. I was going to say, is it similar to the glyph that was on the, the plasma torch thing that we got?
It's identical. It is that glyph.
Oh, cool.
Oh, perfect, okay.
It is the on
know this
switch.
one. Great.
All right.
I want to press the on switch. Should we press the on
button.
switch?
Press it.
So the giant doorway is currently closed. You press the on switch, and you hear a sort of sound and feel the box vibrate. And for a moment, you can. Do you leave your hand on the on switch, or do you pull it away?
I'll leave it on.
Okay. Through the metal of the box, you feel it heat up suddenly enough to be that your hand pulls away. It's not more than touching. It's like touching a kettle that's almost at the boil. It's enough that you're momentarily scalded, but you don't lose hit points. The box thrums, heats up, and then you can faintly hear through the door, as it's heating up, you hear a sort of strange sound from the glass. As if it slightly vibrates or rattles. Something is happening to the room on the other side, and then you hear a sort of like a sudden expulsion of air, and then after a few moments there's a sound that you can very faintly hear through the glass, and then the on glyph, which is lit up, goes dark.
What do we think that did then, other than hissing? Because whilst it was a good noise,
Yeah.
don't imagine that's what it was.
On the edge of it.
On the edge of what?
Yeah.
On the edge of which? Of what specific?
Also, on the edge of the glass.
On the edge of the glass. Okay. It feels like glass. Quite strong glass. In fact, you would probably say this reminds you of the sky glass that you've seen in gigantic style structures before.
Right. I'm just trying to think, Corzin's seen, like, chemical and alchemical equipment before. Would this resemble, like, a vacuum tube?
Haven't put that thought together. There is something that makes you think of that, yes.
Yeah. I think it makes a vacuum.
Oh.
But why? Why? How and why?
Well, actually, I rolled for this previously for Shanti. Shanti puts her hand up. Sorry, what's a vacuum?
Oh, it's
I'm
like
glad someone asked.
when you expel all of the air from a container, so there's no air left in it.
Right. I'm glad someone asked, because I was just sort of pretending I knew, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do that a lot.
I thought if I asked why it was there, I might pick up an understanding.
Yeah, same.
Also, certain things like
I know,
Fair.
Jeffrey.
act a bit weird under vacuums. Like, for example, obviously you can't ignite anything in a vacuum, but also it causes certain liquids to do odd sorts of things. If this is some kind of a laboratory, like, or a workshop like the previous place, then maybe this is something to do with whatever materials are here.
What's considered odd for a liquid to do?
Speak.
I mean,
Dance.
if it did speak, you wouldn't be able to hear it because
Cry.
Sound doesn't travel through a vacuum.
Fart. Play guitar.
Poetry.
Jeffrey kind of pokes at the little box at the base. Sorry. Goes through the gas mask.
Yeah.
And flips up the latch on it with his spear, kind of prizing it open like a treasure chest in the hope of treasure. There is no treasure inside. There is, however, a small slot inside it, shaped like an oxbow.
Shaped like a what?
A little oxbow shaped slot, so which is like
Like a U shape.
yeah.
Oh, it's what I was picturing.
Like a lake.
Like a what?
A lake. An oxbow lake. It's the
Right.
only thing I remember from bits of geography.
I didn't, in real life, I don't think I learned a single thing in geography.
Literally just the oxbow lake.
I
When you get like a
remember
loop and then
extended
it silts up and
conversations.
It becomes like a horseshoe.
I remember extended conversations about squirrels and also terrorists and drug smugglers at airports. That's what I remember
Amazing.
from geography class. My school was really good. That's so good.
I mean, the oxbow lake bit of information has not really come in handy ever in any
It's a fun fact.
Until now.
No, it's
The
still
day
not
has
useful.
come.
But yeah, like it's basically like a sort of a U.
It's a horseshoe.
Yeah, it's like a horseshoe shape.
Right.
Does this look like it would fit any of the other objects in this room?
Nothing that you've seen thus far. No. It's
I
quite.
don't suppose any of you got a horseshoe on you.
Yeah, I carry one at all times, just in case. No, I don't have a horseshoe on me.
I mean,
Well, I've got
genuinely,
these
there are some
paints,
superstitious
so
people
yes.
that do. They think they're lucky.
It's quite a
I've
small.
got paint, I can have anything I like.
It's quite a small sort of oxbow shape. So it would be.
A tiny horse.
It would be a shoe for like a foal.
A very small horse.
Yeah.
Or a pony.
Get this pony and oxbow lake.
That is.
Right.
Yeah, this is everything you have fully explored this room at this point.
I guess
Okay.
we'll have a look around and see if there's anything that shape.
Yeah.
Reckon the other bits of the place.
We might need to look
Good
in other
idea.
rooms at this point, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can hear from the other room out of this one, continuing around the circle, you can hear some sort of roaring, rumbling sound, and then
Let's go see that.
Yeah, and then the tool shed had some sort of vat beyond it. So if you're happy to
We should look at those two.
if you're happy to continue on towards the rumbling sound, then?
Yes.
Yep.
Or do we want to look at the vats? Because we do have these nice buckets, although you can't have this bucket. This bucket is mine. I will kill anyone who tries to take it.
Good to know. Does it have a name?
This is Bucket.
Oh, lovely. That's a lovely name for a bucket.
Yeah, it prefers to be called bouquet.
Ooh.
It's spelled
Fancy.
bouquet, but it's pronounced bucket.
Oh,
Of course
people
it is.
under
Why
people
wouldn't
under
it be?
Like 30 are probably going to be very confused now.
You move into the next room, there we go, where there is indeed a sort of loud, rumbling, roaring sound coming from. It is very quickly apparent what the source of this particular rumbling, roaring sound is.
Ooh.
Because it's a giant pillar of flame.
Right, that'll do it.
Oh wow! Okay.
This room has a. It has a long, quite a wide open room, which just has on one end of it a continuous magical pillar of fire. It's about 5 foot in diameter, and it burns in an impossible miniature tornado of flame. Interestingly, it seems to vary in the color and quality of the flame, depending on what portion on its height. Down near the bottom of the pillar of fire, it is an almost invisible sort of dark blue, and then by the time you get to the top, it's an almost sort of almost sooty sort of red, but there's actually the flame itself does not seem to produce any soot.
Is this a Bunsen burner?
It's, in a sense, it's almost like a sort of 15-foot high, 5-foot wide Bunsen burner flame coming from a simple magic, from a circle that is obviously radiating magic in the floor.
Well, I
that's-
don't think we're going to need to test that one with the blaying pin.
That's large. That's really big.
Yeah, is there any controls for that anywhere? If it's got a magic source, maybe it's got an off switch.
Do you think we press the on switch?
I thought that was for something else, though. It didn't make this noise happen, did it?
I'm gonna go back and press the on switch again.
Okay, once
And just see if it...
in the other room,
Yeah.
you press the on switch. The little case with the sort of oxbow-shaped indentation snaps shut and latches when you do this.
Mm-hmm.
You hear a sort of sound from the door, as if it's just doubly securing the latches, and the whole process of like the box heating up, the glass sort of shuddering a bit, and then the sort of sound followed by before the glass opens, before the glass sort of stops shuddering again. Happens. That whole process takes about a little over 5 minutes. The column of flame does not change in this whole time.
I will, when it's done and the door is shut, I will put it back on and come back.
Put it back on, start the process again, come back. The flame is not affected by this.
Did anything happen to the flame?
Nope.
Not that I could see.
Right, that was a pointless exercise, but I felt like we had to check.
we've eliminated a possibility. That's science, not pointless. So
Science!
Exactly.
There is another room beyond this one. If you want to head into it, but this room appears to very much just contain a huge pillar of flame.
Okay, stupid question. Is it actually giving off heat?
Yes.
Good, okay.
You suspect there might be some level of magic going on here, because the heat kind of strikes you when you enter the room and cools down once you leave it. So there is probably some degree of temperature control going on. It is worth noting, by the way, all of these rooms have the same sort of have a small access way that leads to the central pillar, and a giant another of these 15-foot by 15-foot doors that lead in between the rooms around the chamber. I'm going to briefly stop the flame sounds. The next room along is distinct, actually, in that it does apparently have. Double check this. Nope, sorry, take that back. No, well, it's distinct for what it has in it. It has again another of those little passageways leading to the central pillar of light, and then it has in the center a giant spinning circular table. The table appears.
Spinning
Don't get on that.
table.
Come back here. No, you can't have a go.
The table is made
I want to have
of.
a go.
I want to go.
Apparently, seems to be made of steel or something like it. It's literally just like spinning in place. About, I want to say a couple. Just thinking about its positioning. Yeah, a couple of feet off the floor. And notable on it are the 6 giant steel spikes arranged equidistantly around it. And as ever, there is another doorway leading beyond.
That's a bit frightening, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is there any way to get it to stop spinning?
Is that
Any
all
more
the buttons
to
for?
press?
I will say that you can do an investigation check if you'd like.
Yeah.
I'd like to look for some way to make it stop spinning.
I will.
Anyone like to
I'll
help?
happily do a perception check. Yeah.
I will help whomever with whatever.
Okay.
Is it going to be investigation or perception?
Either, I'll say for this.
Cool.
Let's cause it and have a little.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perception then, right? And advantage because you're helping me, and also it's sight based. Right. That is a 19 on the perception.
Okay. Okay, well, it's enough for you to definitely find the off switch, which is actually the on switch. Getting down and taking a look, which is much easier for you. In fact, you don't even need to. You can see through your shins. You see that underneath the table is a sort of pillar, is a much smaller pillar that is sort of serving as the fulcrum, I guess it would be, for it to turn on. Axle, that would be it, for it to spin on. Which does, on one side, have a glowing little activation glyph. Because the table itself is about 10 foot in diameter, you do your options for turning it on and off are either crawling under the huge spinning steel thing or just using a long object to poke it.
I think we poke that with a stick.
I think it looks pokeable.
have you got a 5 foot or more long stick?
What have I got in my inventory?
How long is my sling staff?
I think your sling staff is like half the size. It's about 3 foot long. This is not a terribly worst comes to worst, you can always go back to the tool room and find one. I'm just curious if you've got anything you particularly want to poke it with.
I'm not putting my off-cloud in there.
It is ironically one of the objects long enough to reach.
Shan't. Don't
I
want
don't think
to.
I've got any long things.
Hang on, let me have a look.
I must have something, but I don't think I can't see it.
Mournful off-cloud playing.
I mean, if it is just a similar button to the ones we've seen before, I could literally just take a single lead shot and throw it by hand at it.
And I will say you do. Just give. You know what? No, there's no rush. Just roll me a luck check.
Okay. That's a 7.
It takes you 2 lead shots. The first one pings off into the distance, and
That's gone forever.
and it ends up somewhere, to be sure, but you're not 100% certain where. The second one, however, manages to tap the little the little activation rune, and the light goes out, and with a the spinning steel table slows to a halt.
Well, I think that's got it.
Looks like it.
As far as you can
Hooray.
tell, that is all that is in this room.
Spinning stuff real fast is like you can get liquids to do again weird stuff, can't you? Because they like stay in place rather than falling out of something.
Yeah, you're right there. You might be onto something.
I don't think I can make that make sense in my brain.
But what's all the...
Now, if you've got a cup of water
Yeah.
or a bucket of water, you can't have my bucket. And you put it on a string and you spin it round real fast, even though it's like on its side, the water doesn't fall out.
Really?
Have you never done it? It's fun.
No, I've not done it in real life. I certainly have. I just don't think Celestia's upbringing was fun enough to have done
Yeah,
that.
no, fair enough.
No, I honestly can't say that I've just sort of swung a bucket around for shit.
No, if you
Sounds
do that
fun,
for a-
though.
Yeah.
I
If you do
saw
that for-
someone doing it with a drink when they were a little bit too drunk once, and it looked really fun, so I tried it. Me and little Corzin did it with like stuff in the kitchen, and then Belle threw us out.
Well, he's got to learn some way.
Yeah, it does.
Anyway, the point being is, you do that with certain liquids, it makes them do stuff that they otherwise wouldn't do. Again, like, it changes the properties of them, basically. It's like putting it under pressure consistently changes the properties.
Okay.
Huh. So like, it gets really stressed and just has, you know, like
Really
emotional
stressed or
changes.
In a way, it's sort of like the same principle as churning milk.
Oh yeah, it's just like
Right.
cheese is just like angry milk, really, isn't it? It's just a stressed milk.
That actually makes a bunch of sense.
No,
Yeah, I can see that.
sure.
Corzin, who actually did grow up in like a vaguely rural setting, is short-circuiting slightly at the moment.
I remember milking cows and churning butter. I don't know if the cows were real.
I
hope
honestly
not.
don't know. I mean, all the people were real. Not all the people. Enough of the people for it to be frightening were real.
What if the cows were just people who thought they were cows?
Why would you say something like that? Why would you say that to any of us? But like especially to Shanty, if I'm honest, that was
Did you remember being
that
a
was-
cow ever?
basically a crime, Scamp.
I
There are...
remember. I don't remember being a cow. One moment. She frowns for a moment, thinks. I do remember. I do feel like I do have a few memories of cow or milk or butter related things. I feel like that's often enough that maybe there were some real cows in there.
Okay, that's something. That's good.
I mean, I know that we must have been eating food.
You must have been eating something, right? Surely.
Because
Then let's hope there were cows there.
Like, Shaper of Will not magically make people not eat for fucking years. Like, that doesn't extend to that power.
Yeah.
You still have to feed people. Well, this got strange.
yeah, next
That
week
never normally happens. Yeah.
Today's been so normal other than that.
you move swiftly on to the next move. Swiftly on to the next room. I will say that
Good move.
this
King of the
room
cow sounds.
you can just see through the door beyond sight of the huge vat that you spotted from the tool shed. So you were at the
Big
so
vat
you
of
appear at the
stuff.
penultimate of the rooms still to investigate now. This room also contains a huge. I want to distinguish it from being a vat and call it a tub, because it has slightly different shape. But it is essentially a huge circular tub, a little more than 10 foot in diameter, made of white stone. It has a very obvious activation glyph on the outside, and the inside is covered with sort of gigantic style spell glyphs, which you can just make out through a huge pile of dull silvery rocks.
So it's just like a vat of rocks.
Big old Vato rocks.
Rocks a rock.
Should I identify what type of rocks they are?
Yes, make a nature check.
Oh my god, can I try? I actually
Yes.
know rocks.
Do it, yeah.
Yeah, make a essentially also make a nature check, but with proficiency.
It's a rock fact.
Oh, rock facts. Yes.
Okay, that's 23.
So, nature. Never used my nature skill. Was exciting. That is. What did I roll? The dice has moved. I rolled a 17. That's what I rolled. So that's 22.
Okay, you are both able to successfully identify this as native tin.
Oh.
So these are just big old rocks of pure tin.
A tin rock.
No, rocks are made of rock, not metal.
No, this one's
Yeah.
made of metal.
You get the ore out of rocks. There's a bunch of Cairnese mines that specialise in this stuff.
Underground, there are many rocks.
Okay. And some of them are made of metal.
Yeah, some of them
We gotta
got
kind
tin
of break
in.
them open, like melt them down, and what's left is the metal.
Yep.
Indeed, it's actually quite surprising that this is native tin as opposed to, say, something like a tin lead, like a mixture, like a tin ore. Like, my mind is giving me galena, but I think that might actually be an ore of lead. Sorry, cassiterite. There we go.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So you'd normally expect some, like, cassiterite would be tin oxide.
Yep.
But this is interestingly elemental tin. It's got that distinctive sort of
My god, D&D geologist, how you doing? It's one of those rare
Yeah.
occasions where D&D and rocks come together. Hello. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah.
I learned most of what I know about. I learned a lot of what I know about alloys and ores from Dwarf Fortress, actually, way back in the day. So
Excellent.
yes, this has the distinctive. You can tell from the particular sheen, the way that it's like the way that it's a little dull, the specific color, and honestly, just the feel of it as well. This is tin. Yeah, this ain't silver, and I think this is tin.
Well, hooray, tin.
Hooray, we have struck tin.
I just wonder what it's doing here.
Yeah, the other question is why would one want a big vat with lots of tin in it and some spells? What can you do with that? Am I missing something? Is there a thing you can do with that?
Well, I don't know if it's like a component for spellcasting, but I know that there are various different metallurgical applications of it.
Like what? Tell us about the things. I want to know the science.
This is where my out-of-character knowledge is outstripped by my in-character knowledge. In terms of what it would have been used for at this period in history that, like, Corzin would know about.
Okay.
Probably it would have been used to make various different types of tools. It would have been, I don't know if it would directly have been used in shipbuilding, possibly by the time you get more metal components on ships, but
I would like you to...
I mean, pewter, actually. Pewter, would be an application that's...
pewter is absolutely one of the big uses. Yeah. Just on the off chance, if you want, you can make a history check here.
I will. Okay, that's a 14.
There is... You're not 100% sure what it's like. Like you can you think of basically most of the uses that have come up. Very much used for... pewter is one of the main uses that comes to mind. Also used in bell making, alloyed with copper.
Oh yeah, there's probably some of that in the ship's bell.
Yeah. Weirdly, pipe organs tend to be made from a mix of
course, I hadn't
tin
thought of
and
that.
lead.
Yeah.
There's
Alright, the big organs they put in churches, the big tubes that are part of them, they're made out of tin.
And there's something else it's on the edge of your mind, and you cannot actually think of what industry it's used for. But you do remember that molten lead has the bizarre property of being extremely flat. It loses it when it hardens, basically it loses it while cooling to a degree. Like if you just let it harden, there's more of a chance of the surface getting rough again. But while molten, especially, tin creates a very, very flat surface.
Corzin would relay this and say, well,
Do you think that, maybe it's been gathered here because it needs to be turned into something else? Like, there's something that needs to be done that requires it?
I have no idea.
Well, it gets real flat when hot. We've got a way of making it hot and melty. We've got a thing that will spin it around.
Oh, it also produces some real bad fumes when heated up. If I remember correctly.
Probably a good job we're wearing these masks then.
Okay, yeah, no, that's good.
I'm glad I'm fogging my eyes up for a good reason. That's nice to know.
What were those big round things earlier we saw?
Which things?
There were some big round circle things, like there was a felt thing, or so, I've forgotten all the details
Yeah,
of them.
3
Oh,
made
right.
of
They're
various
sort of
types of...
wheel-shaped things.
3 made of various types of felt, and 1 made of stone with little slots in it.
Oh, the wheelie things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could they come into it? Is that a thing?
I don't know.
I mean,
Everything
everything is
might not be at all.
about the same size, isn't it? Like, it's all 10 foot.
It's
Ish.
gianty, isn't it?
There are a number of things that you've seen are 10-foot diameter circles.
Yeah.
A tower. Make a tower out of all the circles. It'll look really nice. And then burn it.
You, pondering this, just to move you along, you take a peer into the final room.
Oh yeah.
Which is, or potentially could have been the third room, the second or third room you'd looked into if you carried on from the tool shed, because you can see the tool shed just beyond. The last room has a huge vat in it, which has a mixture of powders in it. Mostly some sort of off-white coarse grit, and also what looks like little mounds of white powder that are loosely mixed in with it. You can also see there is a table with racks of small oxbow shaped bars of what appear to be silver.
Oh hey!
Oh, so you could take one of these things and maybe put it in
Pop it in the
the
thing.
the machine from the other room. Yeah.
Yeah. Give it a crack.
Do you think we're meant to make something really shiny?
Yes.
I mean, that makes sense.
We got all these grit bits. We got a felt, and we got a thing that spins the thing real fast.
Oh, we also have a beam of light that we might need to reflect.
We need to make a mirror.
That sounds fun. Is this how you make one?
I
They have
think
silver
so.
on the back, don't they?
What?
Don't mirrors have like a silver back to them? It's what makes them like mirrors rather than just a bit of glass.
I cannot explain to you how little I know how things like this work.
Well, that's what the ingots of silver here must be for.
Right.
I mean, they fit. It fits in the thing. Should we put one in the thing and press the button and see what it does?
Yeah, let's try
Yes.
All right, you take a little silver oxbow bar. Go back to the room with the big glass sort of vacuum door, and put one into the oxbow-shaped slot in the little box at the base. It does indeed fit neatly in, and you're able to close the box. And you said you're going to activate it from there?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe one of us activate it and the rest of us just stand back a bit, just in case.
Sure.
Cool. Door open or door closed?
Oh, this is a horrible decision.
As in the doors of the room.
Yeah. The door to the glass door dividing the room in half.
Oh, okay.
Maybe we shut that door.
Yeah, close the door.
Yeah.
Seal the door.
That seems like a good idea.
Okay, which one of you is pressing the glyph?
I shall press the button.
Okay, you press the button. As before, you hear the sort of vibration coming from the glass. You can feel from here the sudden increase in heat from the box. This time, though, when the happens, you see as a fine spray of silver vaporizes into the room, covering every surface in an almost microscopically fine spray of silver. Then there is this slow before the room stabilizes again. This time, all of the white walls beyond are now covered in an uneven, sort of reflective, silvery layer.
Folks, we've just invented glitter.
Shiny.
Oh, it's real shiny. Maybe we need to get the thing that we want to coat in silver first.
Otherwise, we just coat everything.
Yeah.
Which, whilst I like it, is probably not what we're going for, right?
No, it's probably not.
Doesn't seem to help very much.
It was really fun, though.
No, it was. You're right.
I enjoyed it, personally.
Should we try and get some tin real thin?
Yeah!
Yeah,
Thin tin?
Let's see if we can do
Some
that.
tin.
That sounds
We
fun.
can heat it up and then do something.
Cool.
All right.
How do we make it stay like round? And how do we make a big mirror? Is there any sort of mould or anything we could put it in?
Well,
If
the
you
spinny
spin
thing,
something lots, does it make it round?
yes.
Yeah,
Well,
like when you're making
broadly.
dough. When you spin dough and it goes flat and round.
Or like pottery, like when people do pottery
Yeah.
and stuff.
yeah.
Like if we spin a thing lots, can we make a round thing?
I feel like in all of
Yeah,
our
but how do we
like-
contain it? So it
Um,
doesn't just go fly. So we don't just spray ourselves with molten tin.
This encounters a real high chance of spraying yourself with molten tin.
we could ask it nicely. Do you think that would work?
No.
Okay, well, it's worth making the suggestions,
Can't
even the dumb
animate
ones.
tin.
We're open to suggestions.
There are no silly answers,
I mean, that's the point.
Except-
if you cast animate objects
except when
on
there are.
molten metal, what could you not do with it?
I'm just going to check the rules and animate objects with regards to liquids, if there are any that are explicitly stated.
Oh boy, I have opened a can of worms.
I have an instinctive answer here.
I mean, if there's an answer that feels right to you, like
I do, but I'm interested in case one comes up. One comes up in the spell wording that creates an even more interesting answer. Okay, having skimmed that, there is no wording on liquid or vaporous objects, so I'm going to go with the spirit of the rules. If an object is insufficiently has a low enough viscosity that that if you pick up if you grab a bit of it, the rest of it will not follow.
Okay, so
if you lift it
Newtonian
up.
fluids
Yeah.
are not going to work. Right.
Yeah, Newtonian fluids will not work for animate objects.
Non-Newtonian fluids, hell yeah.
Yes, you could pick it. You could definitely grab, some gack.
Right.
You're saying I can animate custard?
Yeah.
Scamp's best day ever.
So long as the custard stays in one lump.
A custard lump.
Thick custard.
Very thick custard.
I used to throw custard at my brother because if you get a bit of custard powder and liquid and water and then roll it into a ball, the pressure keeps it in a ball and then you throw it at someone and it hits hard and then it melts on them.
Like cornstarch.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
same stuff. That's what is in the custard mix. It's great. It's really fun for throwing at people.
It's basically cornstarch and sugar, isn't it?
Basically.
And I think
And yellow
powdered
colour.
egg, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of times the custard powder doesn't.
No, fair.
It's
Maybe it's just yellow. That's fair.
But yes, the answer is that if you had a giant ball of custard, you could pick it up and throw it, and you would basically at that point the object would probably count as destroyed when it's splattered. However,
Great day though.
yes, you cannot animate Newtonian fluids with the animate object spell.
A shame.
You could animate something capable of carrying Newtonian fluids, though.
Is there anything that looks like we could make? We could get a mould to keep it in.
Let's have a look at
Other than
the.
the bucket. Although the bucket, what's the bucket?
How flat was the bottom of the bucket of the tub it was in?
If we're talking about the tub, the huge circular, so the 10-foot diameter tub of white stone full of tin rocks, quite
Is the bottom flat?
quite flat, not perfectly flat. Like it is stone, so it's got and when I say stone, this stone, it's more like granite, but not perfectly polished granite. So it's not like not perfectly smooth, quite flat.
Okay, but it's not like convex or concave. It's just textured.
No, it's just textured. I would also say that I'm just going to state this outright. I don't think that Scamp would necessarily know this, but the bucket, apparently spelt bouquet, pronounced bucket, that you have is essentially a ceramic bucket of the white ceramic type that you're likely to find in a modern day laboratory.
Okay.
Would any of the wheels be usable as moulds?
So the
Probably not, but it's the first round thing I thought of.
Yeah, so the wheels don't have lips on the side of them. Though the only thing so things that are 10-foot diameter and have lips on the side of them, as it were, are technically
Not that kind of lips, but it's a funny image.
Yeah, there is. Well, technically, one of the huge buckets does. The biggest one. I guess technically, the huge vat full of various powder, full of mixed powder. The tub full of tin rocks, and that's it. So yeah, the tub currently full of tin rocks is the one with the obvious lip.
What do we think? Do we want to try just heating it up and then letting it cool and see if it makes a big old shape that we can then use?
Yeah, worth a try. Also, let's have a look back in the first room to see if there are any tools that might help us.
All right, you're gonna head out and do that. All right, so you head back round to the tool shed, and I think at that point, and you know what? This seems like a good point for me to give us a recap, in brief, of everything we found thus far. So, starting in the centre of this tower, where you've got the big old pillar of deadly light that you put a
Hate it. I hate it.
Yep, that charred Corzin's belaying pin, where you put a little bit in. Then, going from the atrium around, just to remind you, you've got the airlock room with that you can vaporize silver in. The big old pillar of fire, the spinny circular table with spikes on it that has the off button underneath it, a tub of white stone full of lead rocks, which also has an on-off glyph you found, a vat with a mixture of off-white and white powders, as well as a bunch of bars of silver. In oxbow-shaped bars of silver, and finally the tool shed with various different tools, buckets of white ceramic, and a series of giant felt wheels and one white stone wheel. Oh, and of course, all of the gas masks that you're currently wearing, including Jeffrey.
We shall not be talking like this anymore, because that will just be kind of annoying for people listening.
Yeah, I'm going to die if we do the whole podcast like that, to be honest.
I am absolutely not doing that.
No,
Yeah,
no.
I
it's
might
Fondly
do it for
imagine
Jeff.
that's how we sound.
Yes.
Or, just listen to this entire episode from here on out, like, with a pillow over the speaker or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
Hide in your house and leave the episode on
Yeah.
and see how it sounds, is what we're saying.
All right. So, you currently have... I mean, obviously, Scamp currently has their bucket. They're
very attached to.
Their ceramic bucket.
It's my bucket. You can't have it. If anyone takes it, I'm going to be upset.
I've no desire for that bucket, but yeah, you can keep shouting that every now and then if it makes you feel happy.
There's
It
like
does.
6 other buckets.
Yes, but that one's special.
This is my bucket.
That is, in fairness, the bucket is about...
This one's mine.
Actually conveniently sized, yeah. I mean, there's one over there that's just like thimble sized. It's tiny.
That's adorable.
What is that, like a bucket for pixies?
Yes.
Maybe you just need a really small amount of something in it.
That's true.
I don't think we should give pixies
Then
buckets.
why not just put a small amount in a bigger bucket? No, I don't think they should have buckets. They
They'll
might
get
get up to
ideas.
mischief.
Fucking
They
pixies. Bastards.
Oh, I forgot you'd encountered pixies.
What were
We
we
did.
doing?
For like a whole week.
The Great Forest of Meadmere.
The trees and
It wasn't that
the
great.
trees and
The elk.
the elk
Yeah.
and the pixies
So much elk
making
Oh.
little dolls of you and sticking pins in them, and the trees and the elk and the pixie. That guy was fucking boring, man. Oh,
Yeah, I've got to say, this is Victory, of the bits of your adventures you recounted, that was... You didn't go on about that one at length, but I could feel it went on about for some time.
I mostly remember not
Oh,
shitting
it did.
for like a month.
Weeks.
To be honest, like, have you ever only eaten meat for like a month?
No.
Don't do it. It's bad for you.
I know, I live on a ship. We frequently get fruits and vegetables.
Well, there aren't any in the Great Forest of Meadmere. Or if there are, we weren't good at foraging them.
I was going to say, it's a forest, I assume there'd be vegetables.
Well, there's fuck all except elk, mate.
Right.
It was the wrong time of year for it. Like, dead of winter.
That
You know,
makes
the
sense.
odd leaf here and there.
So, we've got a bunch of tools and materials.
Yep.
What do you want to do with it?
We want a mirror. We want to make
want
a mirror.
a mirror,
I think, don't we?
but I don't know how we get from this to a mirror. I mean, okay.
We know
so there's
silver.
Yes.
We know real smooth.
silver.
Does it need
And
glass?
Rocks.
Mirrors have got
Yeah,
glass, haven't they? Do they
got
have to
like
have glass?
It's a sheet of glass over the front part of it.
Okay, so how do we get a sheet of glass? Glass is sand, isn't it? Is any of this stuff sand?
Let's have a look.
Is the vat of powder, is that sand?
Okay, so anyone who would like to can make,
Sand
and please let
check.
me know which one you're using. Nature, alchemist tools, alchemy if you have any experience with alchemist tools. I don't think Arcana actually would cover this. I think we're into and I don't think any of you have experience with glass making.
Absolutely not. Nate.
Nah.
Yeah, I'll go with nature.
I'll have a look at the nature. 11.
Okay.
I
19.
don't think this is what Celestia
nature,
shines best at, to be honest.
Ooh, 18. 18. It's not bad.
So
I've thrown fire at enough things in enough circumstances that I must have made glass by accident.
bearing in mind that you're explicitly currently all wearing the gas masks.
Yep.
How do you
Yes.
How do you interact with the powders to determine what they are?
Are there any gloves? Can we wear gloves?
Yes, there
Yeah,
are.
given that there were
indeed.
gloves in the previous place.
There were gloves in the previous place. There are also some thick gloves in the tool shed that are kind of like cloth gauntlets. They seem to be made of a similar material to one of the felt wheels.
My
I
instinct
would like to
is
put some of the powder in one of the ceramic-y containers, and then I'm going to throw fire at it and see if it makes glass
that's more fun than what I was thinking. Do that.
from a distance.
Okay, so you
I just wanted to have a look and see if it looked like the beach or not.
right. Okay,
Gonna do.
so you got one of you. One of you is looking. One of you
Pew
is
pew.
putting some in a bucket in a ceramic thing and shooting fire at it. Corzin, how are you examining these?
Corzin is gonna like if the powder is just sort of like in a big container, he's gonna he'll take one of his knives, just sort of dip it in the end, take a small amount out, inspect it, see like how fine is it? Does it look like sand that he's seen on a beach? Is it clearly something else? What's the sort of granular nature of it?
Okay, so Celestia, with your 11,
I'm literally just going, does that look like on the beach or not?
some of it, yeah. This looks like sand, and it's probably mixed in with like a couple of other like really fine white sands or something.
I think it's sand and also really fine sand. That's my take on
Could
the
be.
situation. Do with it what you will.
Let's have a look.
Okay, so Corzin, bear in mind you're not really getting you're not getting much in the way of smell because you're wearing a gas mask here. But examining it visually and looking it through, there's actually two different types of white powder in here. So first of all, the off-white grit is quite coarse. It's definitely sand. It just looks like, honestly, quite pure sand. Like reasonably pure sand, such as you might get by grinding down sandstone or carefully sifting it from a beach. You can also tell that there are the other two powders, both white and both fine, but with slightly different granularities to them.
Okay.
One, just because you've recently been looking at it, you would almost say is the same sort of granularity and appearance as the as kind of like the baking soda from the other.
Okay.
One is even finer.
Oh, like icing sugar sort of fine?
Yeah, and it gets in the, like, you can see it like very easily make small little clouds in the air. Like it's quite light. It's a slightly grayer sort of powder. Perhaps, fortunately, you are not breathing in either of these in, thanks to the gas mask.
Yeah, I mean, Corzin will have come across enough poisons in his time. He wasn't going to handle this with bare hands.
Yeah. Scamp. Yeah, this totally looks like sand and probably some other stuff. What size of bucket do you want to put this in, and how much fire do you want to use it?
Like a slightly larger than my bucket, and I'm not a huge amount in there, and I'm going to use firebolt.
Okay, so you.
So I'm doing it from a slight distance as well, just in case it explodes.
That may well be a wise decision. So this is a okay. So this is Jason does a quick chemistry check about one.
Roll well.
Science.
Because
Throw
I
fire
know.
at it.
Ah, what a
That's how we
fine
do
day
fire.
for science.
Fire science.
Because
You got that reference? You're old.
Because I know what this. Okay, no, it's fine. It is not itself, I think, flammable. Yeah, you're not currently mixing it with anything that would cause it to react in that way. So you should be fine. This is
You're not convincing me.
It's explicitly in a dry state, not combustible or flammable.
Okay. Good to
So,
know.
Does it melt?
Well, that's indeed the question. So, with the you basically scoop some out with a slightly bigger sort of. If you've got a bucket-sized one, this is more like a small vat. Like you could. Weirdly, the size that's coming to my mind is like a cradle. Like a cradle you'd put a baby in, sort of size. Or like a small wash tub. So you scoop some sand and powder out, and you fire one firebolt at it. Roll damage.
Ooh. Where's my firebolt gone? That is 24.
Cool. Wow. Firebolts are spicy. So a fun thing about
This
I
level, yeah.
mean, it's 3d10s. It
Yeah.
can be anywhere between 3 and 30, so...
it's a fun thing about firebolt as a spell, because it's not a heat ray. It's like a little blast of flame that is shot at high speed. So implicitly, for that to be possible, you're essentially conjuring flammable gas. You must be conjuring some amount of flammable gas, setting it on fire, and then propelling the gas forwards. Because, again, it's firebolt, it's not a heat ray. We don't often get into the chemistry of how magic works here, but in this case, I'm going to assume, based on convenient local materials, that the spell is to some degree probably separating out, hydrogen from local atmospheric water.
I've literally never thought about that, and that's fun.
Yeah, creating a small pocket of hydrogen gas, setting it on fire, and then propelling it forwards.
Yeah.
And also science.
The reason I'm thinking about this is that, therefore, firebolts have a little bit of mass. Or at least a little provide a little bit of force. As much force as, say, firing a small, a small bubble of flaming, of combusting hydrogen gas would.
Right.
Which does mean that you knock up a bit of the powder as it blasts, as you blast it, but not a huge amount. She's just going to check the baking soda. Yep. Also, not flammable or combustible in its current dry state. You're good. So this does not. So contrary to other powders that you've sort of puffed into the air and then have caused small explosions, this one does not. Instead, what you get is an intense but brief heat, flash of heat that when of heat and light that when it passes, you can see there is almost like a starburst of slightly dirty, slightly incomplete, and erratically made glass flaked with sand. And
Hooray!
That was fun.
So we can make glass with this stuff. Not like this, obviously, but we've got a big old heat thing there, don't we?
So we have...
We can probably melt some up.
Yeah, so we have...
you also
sand
now
in
have
this
an
one.
artistic little weird glass blast star.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty.
So we have sand in this one, and these two other ones with the kind of finer white powders in. I wish I'd paid more attention to the glass blowers in the town, but I think from what little I remember is that sometimes you got to add other stuff to sand when you melt it so that it like melts evenly, and you can get something you can actually work with rather than all the various different pieces of it melting at slightly different times because they're slightly different sizes.
Indeed, when you
What
look
if you
at
just
the
stuck them under a really big hot thing?
Sorry?
If it was like hot enough, though, wouldn't they all just go push like that big glowy death ray?
Yeah, but like think of it in the sense of if you've got a candle, you can melt a spoonful of butter and you can melt a vat full of butter. It's just going to take a lot longer, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but if you throw them both into an inferno, they're both going to go away immediately.
Depends how hot it is, but yeah.
It's actually worth noting when you look at the little starburst, it's not all clear. Like, some of it, as you kind of brush a bit off, is just because there's a lot of sand stuck in it. But some bits of it are like slightly... I mean, some bits of it are just black. Some bits are slightly greenish. Other bits are clear.
So we do need to sort it out, do we?
Yeah, because otherwise it won't be fully clear or even to work with, and you don't want the surface of a mirror to be all lumpy bumpy. That would make
It'd be a rubbish mirror, wouldn't it?
it wouldn't work as a mirror.
Yeah, but we can... And we couldn't just sand it down? Because we've got this big old spinny thing and this felt stuff.
Yeah, I think that's more for polishing it rather than sanding it, but similar principle, I suppose.
Oh, it's time for a Shanty skills check.
Ooh!
Can Shanty make mirrors?
Shanty explicitly does not have glassmaking knowledge. I just wanted to check if she has... Okay, apparently she has average, I guess, metalworking experience.
Jason probably knows more about metalworking than Shanty does.
Yes.
I would say yours is becoming above average. Jason's been doing metalworking as a hobby.
I'm definitely an average.
I don't think the average amount of metalworking knowledge is that much,
Yeah,
so I
but,
think
like,
you
I'm-
are slightly above
I am-
average.
I am average for an amateur. Which
I
is-
think
which
for a
is an important
person
distinction.
knowing about metalworking, you are above average.
But the point is, like, yeah, average enough to know this. Shanty comes in. I mean, I remember, like, sanding and polishing things, and they're kind of the same thing. It's just how fine your grit is.
Right.
And we've got some different gritty bits, haven't we? So, I suppose we can make the glass out of some of this stuff and like sand it and polish it up with the other bits.
Maybe?
That makes sense.
Is a mirror just glass?
No, it's also got a silvery bit, which is what we need that vaporizer room
Yeah,
for.
if you think the front part of a
Right.
mirror is glass, and the actual like reflective bit is what's underneath the glass.
I was going to say, because windows are just glass,
Yeah.
and they're not mirrors.
Yeah,
No, they do. They're
Not to
slightly
like state the
reflective.
obvious.
but you need something
yeah.
behind them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we need a big old flat surface, which we've got a big old round thing, don't
Yeah.
we, somewhere?
There's...
And then we need to cover that in silver, make that all shiny, and then put glass over the top and make that all smooth and shiny. Is that how do we do
So
this?
it reflects as much light as possible. Yes.
There's a spinny bit
Yeah.
with the spikes come into it.
I think we can use that for sanding and polishing, can't we? If we put the felt on top.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
like,
feel like that must work, mustn't it?
Okay, this is
Yeah.
out of character Sam knowledge coming in here. Like,
Yes.
would there be a 17th or a 1700s equivalent of like a lathe?
Yes, it's in fact the lathe.
Yeah, lathes have been around a long
Yeah.
time.
So
okay.
lathe.
The spinny wooden one that you make chair legs on.
Yeah,
Oh, I actually, now that you've said you make chair legs on it, I know what it is.
Yeah.
Weirdly.
It's like it's a motorized, or well, these days it's motorized,
Yeah.
but back then it would have probably been hand cranked thing
Yeah,
that
the
you
hand
use
crank-
It was
to...
a foot pedal.
The hand cranked and foot
There was
pedal.
like a foot pedal
Yeah.
that you had
Yeah.
because you needed your hands to be moving the
Yeah.
wood.
Yeah, my brain literally only does pictures most of the time.
Yeah.
So if you say, "Oh, it's a
I
spinny
saw one
thing
at a
what you make
medieval fair.
chair legs with," I'm like, "Oh, cool."
Yeah.
Yeah, the early lathes were basically like turn with one hand, use your carving tool with the other.
Yeah.
Then someone put a foot pedal in so that you could do, or you just had like an apprentice
Yeah.
turning it like a spit.
Spinning it.
Yep. So actually, then how
Evidence
Corzin would
of a lathe dates back to 1300 BC.
yeah. Okay, so how Corzin would then express this would be, all right. So that little turntable thing. If we're
Spinny
using,
friend.
yeah, if we're using that to sand and polish the surface so that it's nice and even.
Yep.
Are the spikes to hold the thing in place so that it doesn't just fly off?
I mean, to be fair, if you
Or are they
put
to hold the felt in?
if you put a bit of felt on a
don't
table
know.
that spins without spikes on it, you are just going to have felt not on a table very quickly.
Yep.
So I feel like that would make sense.
Before we do this, am I allowed to have a sit on the table and we turn it on and see how far I fly? Or is this a terrible...
It's got spikes on it, but if you can think of a way to not get spiked, then sure, man. Go off.
I can't think of how to not get spiked.
Maybe
I mean, we could just
brace
spike
yourself
you on
against
there.
them.
Give you a little healing potion after, it'd be fine.
Let's go have a look at our big round flat thing. Because we've got a big metal flat thing, haven't we? That we think is going to be our base. Is that right?
Where's the big metal flat thing?
So currently, big metal flat thing. So right now,
Did we have that? Or did
We've
we just
got-
say we had to make
we
you
might have
don't
some
have-
rocks.
yeah, you don't have a big metal flat thing. You have a vat full of lead rocks.
That's the bit
owls,
that
we
I've
gotta go
missed
make
out
it.
of the
Tin
description. Lead rocks.
Tin, sorry, not lead.
Okay,
Very
tin.
specifically
So
tin.
let's go shove those under the big glowy light.
And make them go hot and melty melt.
And then, like...
Okay, I'm just going to give you a description again of that.
Did we have one with a big flat bottom? One of the big tubs?
So I'm just going to give you a description of the tub again with the tin rocks in.
Yep.
It is a 10-foot diameter in the centre, internally, tub of white stone. The interior is ringed with glyphs in gigantic that appear to be magical in nature. There is one sort of on-switch type glyph on the outside that you have not pressed. You can see that it probably does have a somewhat flat base at the bottom of it, but it is currently full of dull silvery rocks.
What is wrong with us? Why have we not pressed it? I have to go press the on switch.
I too would like to press it. Let's go press the button.
Both
Alright.
of you roll initiative, and let's see who gets the on switch first.
Do we have a competition?
Yeah.
Corzin,
just
no,
for the hell
Corzin
of
is
it.
going to be
Absolutely.
preemptively opening his healer's kit.
Oh, damn.
I've rolled a 21. I never roll well on initiative.
Oh, I'm pretty sure you've got me beat, but I can't remember what my initiative is because my memory's a sieve today.
I mean, I'm looking at that.
Yep,
that
you
base
win.
roll. Yeah.
Congrats.
You rush in to grab it, but Scamp is just that little bit faster. Scamp,
Ooh.
you tap the
Button.
glyph, it glows, and with a sort of sound, all of the glyphs inside the tub start glowing as well. Interestingly, the glyphs only go halfway up the interior of the tub. There's a point at which they sort of end. But the glyphs start glowing with a sort of dull orange light, and you immediately feel the room get a lot hotter. It takes a few minutes, but unlike your firebolt spell, this very much is a heat ray. You watch as the dull silvery rocks slowly get a little shinier, and then a little shinier,
Ooh, shiny.
and a little bit smoother. and then start pooling at the bottom, and over the and it's pretty quick actually. Like, you know, it takes about 3 to 4 minutes. But you watch as the little tin rocks melt, flow, and then pool together, rising, and the level sort of rises up as they melt, until at the point when all of the rocks have melted, there is a perfectly flat surface of tin. Like, if you got a spirit level and it didn't immediately catch fire, if you rested it on
fireproof spirit level,
or crack or anything, it would just be like, it would be that bubble would be right in the middle.
Excellent.
It is possibly one of the most like smoothly level surfaces you've ever seen.
I mean, that kind of looks like a mirror.
Yeah.
Not like a finished one, but, you know.
I mean, it's actually astonishingly, like, you know, it's not perfect. It's slightly, maybe a little less reflective than the kind of mirrors you're used to, but there's a certain amount of reflection that's coming from just the fact of how damn flat it is.
Yeah.
So,
Well, progress.
I guess the question is, how do we get hot glass onto it without making this a little bit melty too?
And how do we get it out of this thing?
Well, is there a something we can pour it into so it spreads out and remains evenly flat?
Annoyingly,
I think this is the only thing that's the right sort of shape, isn't it?
this does indeed appear to be a perfectly round 10-foot diameter tub.
Alright, hear me out. If we turn it off now, the heat bit, we'll be
then
able
it
to tip
cools.
it out when it cools.
Yeah,
Well, it's worth a try.
possibly.
Turn it off.
Alright, let's turn it
Alright.
off.
You turn it off.
I mean, we can always heat it back up again, right?
True.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
shit
turn it
idea.
off. I will say it takes a little longer to cool until it's solid again. So you're probably left waiting closer to 20 minutes. This is, but I mean, it becomes reasonably solid again quite quickly. It just obviously is still hot for a little while.
Yeah.
Here's where I need to double check a thing. Because I know that this is perfectly flat while it is molten. What I'm not sure is whether
Whether cooling it changes that.
whether it stops being perfectly flat when you cool it. I think it might. I'm literally just loading up my reference again to check.
Okay.
It does. I think it does. Okay. So, interestingly, as it cools, something interesting happens. The tin, I mean, it gets a little bit less shiny, but you notice that there's something about the surface just doesn't seem as perfectly flat as it was when it was molten.
Blech.
Well,
It's still shiny, it's still reflective, but it's not as shiny and reflective.
not all mirrors are really, really hot, so how does this work?
Okay, well, I suppose we could try polishing it up and all that. Or
Yeah, or maybe it's layers.
Is it because it's cooling weirdly? Do we need to cool it all at once?
Was there a
Or
cooling bit?
will that just make it get real cross and like spit molten metal at us?
Well, what if we were to...
What about what? Hang on, out of character for a second. What did
Yeah.
the airlock room? We figured out what that did, and I can't remember.
So the airlock room you discovered, you've theorised, although you've not put anything in there to test it. You've not gone in because it would be insane. You've theorised from the way it's reacted that it turns the other side into a vacuum, and then if you put one of those little silver ingots into the container, it superheats it, and then it sprays a fine mist of liquid silver, just vaporized silver.
We did do that bit.
Yeah.
Across the
We made
everything
a
in that
lovely
room.
silver rain.
What about the crazy silver spray room? Would that make it stay flat? I really don't know how anything works.
We can't put this in it because it's too big. You've got to slot it in the thing that's the right size for the silver.
Yeah, and what if you...
I think that'll be good for coating this with silver, but we kind of want it a bit flatter first.
Yeah, if we were to sand this down now so it was nice and flat again, and then coat it with silver.
Do you think that'll work?
I guess we'll try to see if we can sand it down. And if that doesn't work, we'll just heat it up again and see if we can cool it down differently so that it stays flat.
Yeah.
How do we get it out of the tub?
Well, now it's cooled. It's a little bit... It's gotten smaller from the edges, so it won't stick as much, right?
Yeah, are there any tools in the tool shed that might help us?
Okay, so interestingly, there are some tools in the tool shed, I'm going to say, including some little round things that sort of... Essentially, they're almost like grabbers with sort of curved, very thin curved edges that you could use to press down and around something round and circular, and pull it out. The grabbers, interestingly, are the edges of the grabbers are quite thin, though. I'm going to say that for comparison, the grabbers are clearly built to lift something that is no thicker than an inch maximum.
Okay.
Maybe even 2 centimeters.
And how thick is this metal material that we've got currently?
You think that the bath of the tin bath that you've essentially created is probably closer to 3 or 4 inches deep.
Okay.
So you could use, So if you had, so you could use it to lift a small layer of something that was the right size off this. But you'd have to dig into the tin somehow and then separate it, which seems, now that you look at it, seems impractical.
Yeah, we can't really just chop it up like a sausage, can we? Well, that's what I want to do.
I think I could make it move, maybe. How big is this in terms of... Is this huge or
This is indeed
medium
a
size?
huge...
How do you animate an object that's liquid?
It's not liquid right
Well,
now.
it ain't liquid now.
Technically, I guess the whole tin plug right now it's both wide. It's 10 foot wide, but it's fairly thick. If it was thinner, it would be a large object. But I'm going to say that it's currently,
plug.
because of the thickness, it just crosses maybe into huge.
Okay.
Actually, no.
A
Huge would be
huge,
it plus
wide,
the
thick
vat, the vat, which, as far as you can tell, is just built into the floor. So yeah, it's a large object.
And a large, wide, thick plug. Yep.
Okay, so I could move this.
No
That's
shit.
not a problem.
I literally forgot you could do that, if I'm honest.
So the question really is, do we need it to be thinner? Is there a good reason for it to be thinner other than moving it, or...
Well, the tools that we have access to can only move things that are about, and Corzin holds his fingers
Yes,
about an
but-
inch apart.
Darling, that's sort
Yeah,
of
but
the
we
point.
don't need to use those.
That if we don't need... If all it is moving it with the tools, Scamp can move it without the tools, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh, right, in which case...
So is there a reason for it being thin that isn't related to moving it?
Just ease of transport, I suppose. But if you can literally
Again,
just
same
animate
thing.
it, yeah.
So, shall we try smoothing it down and see if we can do that?
Yes.
Yes, let's try that.
So we're
Right,
going to smooth it and then cover it in silver weird. Is that the plan?
Yeah, I think so.
Right.
But I guess the first question is, the next question is, are we attaching it to the felt, or are we attaching the felt? No, are we attaching the felt to the spinny thing, or it to the spinny thing? Which one's getting attached?
That's a really good question. I feel like the felt will be easier because it'll go on the spikes.
Yeah.
Whereas this
And if I
doesn't.
can hold up the thingamajig, or it can hold itself up, then that's kind of alright, isn't it?
Looking at the turntable device, does it look like it's built to take the weight of a large metallic object, or does it look like it's the polishing part of this apparatus?
I mean, yeah, it looks sturdy. It probably could take the weight of a large metallic object. Like
how you
if
attach
just
it, then.
weight. But it does indeed have a series of like 6-inch spikes on it.
6 foot. What's that? Jesus. Felt.
Oh.
This poor little piece of felt just perched on the top of these 6 foot spikes.
So I guess let's skewer the felt onto the spiky fellas.
Yeah, but I felt like it'd go on spikes and stay there, right?
Yeah, should do.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's try that.
So you get one of the big. So you get one of the felt 3 felt wheels. In fact,
Is there any difference between them? Like, is
There
there any one that like,
is.
would be better for this?
they appear to be made of 3 different materials. You're not really sure exactly what the materials are, but they are 3 different levels of fineness.
Okay, let's start with the roughest.
Yes.
Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yes, start rough, get smoother.
Okay, you take the coarsest felt.
Don't know why
wheel,
that made me laugh, but it did.
Same.
and,
For no reason.
you impale it on the spikes. Jeffrey scrabbles under the turntable and
Should
hits
it be
the on
wet?
button.
I feel like water's involved somewhere.
Well, water would be the
know
last
why.
step to get rid of all of the tiny little particulates.
That's a good word.
I will say that in the tool shed, there are indeed some tucked away in the back. There are some large jars filled with. I'm going to say you find, investigating them, you find one does appear to be full of water, one appears to be full of some very neat alcohol, and one appears to be full of what appears to be oil.
Okay.
Like mineral oil?
Yes.
Right.
It's not more linseed oil
Yeah,
under the circumstances.
Yeah, nah.
Which ones do we want? Where do we use oil? Which ones do we use water? What are we doing?
Oil's hard to get off with water.
yes.
I don't know if that's helpful information, but I'm just thinking about like how those things interact. And I feel like if you want to wash the bits off something with water, but then maybe the
If you made
oils
it all
for like
oily, that's not gonna
polishing
help.
it
Yeah.
after, with that, because if you'd
Maybe.
already
Yes.
put oil on it, the water wouldn't necessarily get it off very well.
No, but
Greasy, oily
no,
mirror.
but once it is washed off, the oil creates
Yum,
a
yum, yum.
fine, thin surface above what you've already got there.
Is that for the silver to stick to? Does the silver stick to that? Things don't stick to oil. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
I'm going to say at this point, Shanty, who again has an average understanding of polishing,
Oh, the Celestia is so
is
far
going to
under
come
average.
in and go like, I mean, like it depends on what material you're using. Like you use water if you're doing like wet and dry sandpaper. Oil's pretty common for polishing to remove like little bits of grit and dust and stuff.
Right.
Like I'd probably like you could use a bit of oil and then clean it off, maybe with a mixture of alcohol or water and like some sort
there's
of
an
like,
alcohol
soap
one.
or detergent.
Yeah, it's like furniture polish.
I have never polished furniture in my life, and I never intend to.
I mean,
haven't
I've not
either.
ever owned a piece of furniture that would require it, but like, yeah, there are some.
I have never owned a piece of furniture other than this bucket. Does a bucket count?
Does my beaded doorway count as furniture? Because if so, I've owned some.
Cousin, you literally have furniture in your stateroom now.
Oh yeah, no, that I was about to
Yeah, but like
clarify.
he has
like,
people for that. He doesn't
Yeah.
polish it himself because he's the captain. So
like that's
The
probably
captain
the
does not
first
spend
time he
his days
has.
in his room polishing his furniture. That is not what he does.
just gotta go
In
and
his stateroom polishing his
furniture.
furniture.
Polishing his furniture with his wife. You know. Why is this situation turning us all into such dicks? Jason's like, here's a science puzzle, and we're like, how about we make it awful? Like really
How about
often.
bombs?
Because, Ellie, because.
I don't know why it's like doing this to all of us though. We've all been completely insane like the whole time that we've been in this chamber.
Well, an entendre left undo blade is a very sad and tragic thing.
It is.
It is.
Okay, this is good.
Oh, entendre or double. Where? What? Anyway, carry on.
All right, so you've got the coarsest bit of felt on
Yep.
the turntable. It is now spinning at
I
an
think we're doing water first, aren't we?
Right.
We're going to use water the first time.
Okay.
Yep.
You pour some water on it. Okay, so you've now got the wet felt spinning. So you're going to cast animate
Soggy
objects to lift
Yeah.
out your tin. Okay. I would like.
How are we gonna make it level? I hadn't considered that.
So I guess your choice of. Oh, it's going to be a choice of like a dexterity check, or because this is like how you use your magic essentially. So I'm not. This is something that arguably you could use skill for as well. So I'd say a dexterity or arcana.
Is there any like ball bearings or marbles or anything?
I will say that there are. Have ball bearings been invented? Yes.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. I will say that there are indeed some sets of ball bearings of essentially, small steel balls that would serve as ball bearings in the tool shed.
Now this might be an insane thing, so if I've not thought of something, just, shoot me the fuck down. But what if we put a ball in the middle of it while you were spinning it? Because then if the ball starts rolling, you'll know it's not level.
That's a good idea, actually.
Does that make any sense?
On top of the thing.
On top of the metal that
Would the
you're moving around.
Yeah, but like, would the vibrations from it touching the being sanded not move the ball anyway?
Maybe, I don't know. There was a thought.
Depends
I
where
was
you
trying to
wanna
think of
put
ways
it.
to keep it like straight.
Yeah. I mean, it can just hover. I don't know why it would end up being at a weird angle.
Yes, the turntable
Because like,
level to the
why
ground.
would it hover perfectly straight randomly? Why are we
Because it just
assuming that's
lifts
how
up.
it works?
Don't know. It's never been at a weird angle before.
It's
When
also.
something lifts up.
I will also say.
If we know it tends to be level, it's fine. But yeah, I don't know.
I'm
Out
actually
of character, I don't know if that has to be a conscious thing or not. Is what I was
I am
thinking.
going to say that, Scamp, you've never been in a situation where you've needed to hold an animated object perfectly
Yeah, 'cause
level.
It's not telekinesis. I'm not moving it with my mind. I order it to do a thing and it does the thing. The thing becomes a creature.
Interesting.
Okay, yeah, different.
If
than
it was
mine.
telekinesis, that's slightly different because I'm
That
not
is
moving objects around. They become creatures, effectively.
Oh, interesting. In which case, I think I need you to do one. Okay, so I'm going to say this is an interesting one then. So you have. Okay, so the distinction I'm going to make is this plug of tin is, I've said large, and I'm going to say that if it were thinner, it would be medium. This is relevant because of the difference in dexterity. Because a medium animated object has a dexterity of modifier of +1. You are right. This is being done as animate object, not telekinesis. Are you able to do telekinesis?
Yes. Because I have friend.
Yes, through friend, you are able to do that. I thought so. That is just it's something that I'm just checking for comparison. Okay, so I would like you to do one Arcana check to determine how well you imbue this animated entity with control.
Okay.
Also, just realised this is up to a minute, so you're going to need to move it quite quickly.
Oh yeah, that's a.
But
Maybe
we've said
should do
animated object for the
telekinesis,
first one,
'cause
so
telekinesis is longer.
Up to you. It's your magic.
How long does it take to polish a thing?
I don't think I've ever polished anything in my life, to be honest.
Corzin, you spend a lot of time in
I've
your,
polished
in your,
my boots
in
in the
your quarters polishing your furniture.
My boots in the army is not the same thing as this.
Yeah.
But you've got like weapons, Corzin. You've got.
Yeah,
you
all right.
keep them
I think if
sharp
you've got
and
something that
polished.
lasts, like if you've got a choice between two things and one of them lasts longer, go for that one. It at least gives us options. Worst case scenario, we just you just dismiss it early.
Okay. So I guess I am gonna have to use the telekinesis.
Would that allow you to
How
have
heavy
more
is this
fine
thing?
control? Because I think that would be a factor here.
oh, this is an interesting
Yeah,
one. I'm just
You do get fine control on objects, but how heavy is it? Is the
yeah.
question.
So this is an interesting thing. I need to find out. Wow, this is like old school D&D. You know it. You know you're in old school D&D when you need to find out the weight of lead.
I mean, the atomic weight of lead is probably easy to pick up, but I don't think that's what you want right now, is it?
Yeah, we're gonna go cubic feet. Oh, okay. Right. So this is an interesting one. So I've said this thing is 6 inches deep, right?
Yeah.
And it's definitely... I mean, it's definitely more than 1 foot wide. In fact, I've said that it's 10 foot in diameter. Okay, so here's the fun... Alright, so... Oh, wow. Sorry, this is an important... So this is a distinction.
Right.
You can use animate objects, because I don't think the weight distinction applies here,
Okay.
No,
to
it's just
animate
because it becomes its own creature.
a
It's
plug
size
of
thing.
lead. But you cannot use telekinesis because it weighs more than 1,000 pounds.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, like...
This is fuck. I meant tin, not lead. Although, to be honest, I think you're still going to run into the same problem. Yeah, I'm pretty sure tin.
Tin's a heavy boy, I think.
Tin. Yeah, I'm reasonably sure that tin is. Tin is lighter than lead, but it's like a cubic foot of tin is still 453 pounds.
Yes.
Jesus.
So the point is, yeah.
So, either we make it thinner, or we are using animate objects.
Well, can we remelt some of it, but use just less material?
How do we get it back out, though? Like, it's already melted in a lump, because we melted a lump, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, is there anything we can scoop some of it out with? Like,
looking
Well,
at this,
so the
we are
containers are made of the same things.
What?
So, like, the big old bowls can hold it. So we could use some of the buckets, not my bucket, while it's molten to scoop some out.
That's possible.
Yeah. Take some out with a bucket, friend.
I really feel like we are, because like at this point, it's either we need less of the tin, or we need something lighter and thinner that we could bring out. So I'm down for that.
All right.
I can't think of anything lighter.
Now, do we think we're going to burn ourselves horribly if we try and scoop out buckets of molten metal tin?
But we do have the grabby sticks.
Yes, I think that's what they're for.
Could we do a grabbing on a bucket and put it in with the grabby sticks?
Yes.
I'm going to say that there are literally just sticks that you can use that are actually that are designed to fit around the buckets.
I press the on button before Celestia can.
What?
I press the on button to melt the tin again before you get a chance to.
You do.
That's just mean.
Dart in.
It is. It really is.
The tin melts again. So you get a long bucket on. You get a long old ceramic bucket on with a sort of long pole that hooks into it.
I use prestidigitation to give the on button a sad, accusing face.
Oh, no.
It stares mournfully at you.
Please.
It makes a little sound. It goes.
Oh no.
It's such a good thing that Ellie, don't have this spell. Can you imagine the shit that would have small faces on it that made sounds? Jason's life would be hell.
Okay, you acquire a bucket full of molten tin. Interestingly, when you're not jiggling it around, the bucket, the surface of the bucket also forms a perfectly flat surface.
We can make little sandcastles out of metal.
Yeah, we could actually. Let's not get distracted.
How would that work?
But I'm so good at distracted.
And I guess this
We
has
fill the
indeed...
buckets, and when they're cold, we just tip them out.
Yes.
This has indeed lowered the... Yeah, this does lower the level of thought.
Purposely do a few different sizes of buckets so that we can make a metal castle. You said there was a thimble-sized one.
Yes,
Like
yes, you can.
sizes.
Okay, so this is a brilliant way of doing this that I did not anticipate. So you're taking metal out to get the lead the tin bath down until it's thin enough that you can lift it.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and I will say, craft doesn't exist as a skill anymore. Wisdom or intelligence check from anyone who wants to lead this for building your castle of tin.
Okay. Who's got the best wisdom? Is it me?
Lol.
Someone's
you.
got to have a better wisdom than our very low intelligences.
I
I
think
got a
it's
+3 for
definitely
wisdom.
you.
Okay.
Oh, it's you.
Oh yeah, 100%. Mine's 0.
Dad, tell us how to make a metal sandcastle.
Oh, Corzin's making the sandcastle.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
Who's
So,
at least directing the sandcastle.
yeah,
the tin
this is just
castle.
a straight wisdom roll then.
Yeah.
Okay, that is a 13.
It compares favourably to a sandcastle, in the sense that it's a lot harder to poke doors and windows and so on in, because it is literally just metal.
Yeah.
But it is also tin, so like it casts reasonably well. Like you have a little difficulty like getting it out of the buckets.
Knock on the top of it.
In the bottom of any bucket that Scamp interacts with, there's also another sad face.
But I will say, after an hour or so of essentially
Just
fucking
any
around
bucket
with tin,
that Scamp like looks in or does anything with.
you do get you let you turn the heat off, let it cool down, and you now have a fairly thin, but nevertheless intact, circular plate of tin that is quite flat on one side. Like, it's very flat on one side, and which you believe you can fish out with either the grabby tools or with telekinesis. It is now just about under £1,000, and you were able to do this. You don't reckon you could get it too much lighter than this, without it basically risking bending under its own weight.
Yeah.
As tin is quite a soft metal.
I mean, it
Okay.
might not be worth the magic at this point. Maybe we should save the magic. Up to you, though. I mean, you know how many spells you've got.
I mean, it's really big.
It
And
is
do you
really
think we're
big.
going to be able to hold it flat?
No, you suck. You are right. Corzin could probably do it on his own, don't get me wrong, but I think the rest of us are fucking noodle
It's 10
arms,
foot
aren't we?
across.
I mean, Victory, Shanty, correct me if I'm wrong. If either of you are not noodle armed, let me know.
How strong is Shanty? Shanty kind of like shrugs and like puts up an arm, like pulls her sleeve back, does a little thing, and Shanty has like some muscles on it.
Was there a
Shanty,
bench
why are you-
press in your student accommodation?
Shanty, were you fucking ripped this whole time? Excuse me.
I mean, I guess I've done a lot of stuff that involved moving and lifting and
Yeah, I
things.
mean, the Shanty that somebody who's not me knew did work out on a regular basis, I guess.
Yeah. Shanty has 16 strength.
That's actually really impressive.
yeah.
Holy shit.
I literally just rolled a d20 just for the hell of it. This is really not how you should roll your strength scores, but yeah, Shanty is surprisingly ripped.
Yeah.
As you one of the muscle motions, Celestia's arms are not like nothing, but they're the sort of like tiny, wiry muscles.
Yeah.
Celestia's arms are thinner than mine in real life, which is fun.
Okay. You carefully remove the tin. So Shanty's taking one half. Who's taking the other side? Because it takes two of you to lift the tin thing out.
Makes sense. I'll take the other side.
Okay. Can I ask? Actually, what is your strength score?
My strength score is 18.
Yeah. Okay. So neither of you have any penalties from low strength.
No.
I'm gonna ask you for a dexterity check, and we'll count as Shanty assisting you. So just
Dexterity.
roll-
Okay, so
So just
dexterity
roll
with
with
advantage.
please.
Cool. Okay. Cool. Okay, that's very, very cocked. Not my best work. That's a 10.
Oh,
With advantage.
With advantage.
Oh, mate.
Yeah.
ouch.
For context, by the way, on the Moss hardness scale, tin has a hardness of 1.5. Notoriously soft copper has a hardness of 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Oof.
pretty sure talc has a hardness of 1.
Okay.
Jesus.
Tin is really easy to scratch.
Yeah.
Tin is a bendable friend.
Yes.
Yeah. It is soft. It is very easy to scratch. However, you got a 10. So
Solidly average.
While you do manage to knock the side of the tin disc at one point against the edge of the tub as you're taking it out, and you notice how it very easily and immediately scratches. The surface, like that you're planning to polish, is currently fine. All right. You get the polishing. Disc in place. Yep. The felt disc, and
I think maybe we use the magic because you're different heights, and there's just so much that it could go wrong here.
Fair.
Oh, I don't trust myself with anything. I think this is the point where we do magic. Yeah.
It's not that big a end of the worldy spell, so.
All right, you cast. You sort of using friends' assistance to guide you. You extend your magic to take hold of the tin disc. Flip it skillfully upside down. And as the plate as the polishing disc spins, you carefully lower it down. Kind of try to keep
a bit of encouragement if anyone's got any.
I'm going to say you try and keep it as level as you can. Putting the ball bearing on the top, as suggested, does actually help give you just a little guide as to whether you're keeping it level or not. So I will let you make your Arcana check with advantage, please.
Cool. Where's my Arcana gone? So I haven't got any physical dice with me, and this thing has just glitched on me. Come on. I will try rolling that again, because that went weird. I'm just going to roll 2d20s rather than clicking Arcana. Okay, that's a 17.
Okay. I will say that you managed to get through... we're going to do this... Alright, the first polish seems to go smoothly. As you lift it up and examine it, the surface is shinier, more reflective than before.
Little face in the middle goes me.
As you kind of hold it up in place, I will say that Victory comes in with Shanti, and Corzin helps you lift off the first bit of felt, brings in the second bit of felt, you lower it down, lift it up, even shinier this time.
I think it's working.
The face looks more distressed with each polish. More and more upset.
I'll let you turn this one on and off.
It was a question I was going to ask. Like, if you had used animate object on this, would polishing it cause it damage?
I mean, technically, yes.
I mean, you're reducing its mass.
Like, technically, yes, but in the same way as, like, you know, pumice stones on your corns cause you damage.
I would argue that if you levitated Corzin and gently lowered him down onto a polishing wheel, it would cause him some damage.
Depends how heavily you polish him.
Yeah, I mean, like, there'd be a level which would be, like, just annoying, and there would be, like, making soup.
Face soup.
Oh, God.
Oh. All right. Yeah, no, that's through the first check. So you managed to draw down the second one, then you exchange it out, and then the third and final polish comes down. You lower it. I'm going to say you're getting towards the end of the first 10 minutes of the spell, because it does take a while to polish things finally.
Yeah.
Especially if you are being careful.
I mean, having sanded a number of boards to, like, not this standard, but
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah, this totally does take up most of 10 minutes.
Yeah.
it's smooth.
And using a little bit of water, a little bit of oil, careful with sort of shanty, like adding in and adding in some liquid medium. By the time when you finally remove bring your new tin mirror up, you think this is about as shiny as you can get it. It's not. Again, it's not as perfectly reflective as like some of like the mirrors that you've the best mirrors you've ever seen. You suspect that's probably got something to do with the nature of tin, but it is very, very flat, and it does seem to be reflecting quite well. There's just like a slight, almost like a slight shadow to the reflection. Like it's not perfectly reflecting yet.
The crying face looks accusingly at Scamp.
But so reflectively accusing.
Oh, it's very shiny. Yeah. I rolled for Celestia's commitment to punishing you for not letting her press the button, and I rolled really high. So like for the next, like couple of hours, like everything you interact with has a sad face.
Oh no!
Jeffrey crawls under, which is very easy for Jeffrey. Taps this the off button. The table spins to a halt, and before you lose the last of your spell, you you carefully flip it upside down and rest it on its back on the giant spinny table, just as the magic gives out. So you've completed you now have an astonishingly polished tin mirror.
Shall we cover it in some silver?
Yes, I think that's the next step, isn't it?
Put it in the room with the scary door. That one.
Okay. Are you lifting it with magic or people?
I could do some more magics, or do you think you can? You can do it between you. What do we think?
I think between us we should be able to.
We'll just take it really slowly.
Yeah, this isn't nearly as like. So long as we're careful, we don't need nearly as like as fine control anymore. We're just taking it from here to over there.
I don't mind helping, but I don't think I should be in charge with my
I think
blood magic noodle arms.
The people with arms that are worth mentioning can lead.
I mean, I think this is one where like the more people we have, the easier it's going to be for everyone. So let's all pick a side.
Okay. Everyone comes in. You carefully lift the. Now that it's not scaldingly hot or anything, you can essentially just use gloves and carefully lift it from the bottom. And again,
use your knees.
You are leading this, so a dexterity check with advantage, please.
Dexterity check with advantage. Okay, come on. Okay, that's a little bit more like it. That's a dirty 20.
Okay,
Yay.
With all of you together, you are able to lift to get it through. Lift it, get it through the atrium, past the giant furnace. Fire column and into the room with the vacuum chamber. You open the door. The hardest part, but you still manage it, is we have to slightly tilt it to get it through the door. You don't manage to knock it on anything. Carefully lower it to the ground. Step out, close, seal the door. Get another of the little silver ingots and place it in the box.
All right.
And then get out the room.
Yes!
Yeah.
This time, Celestia, you managed to get in there fast enough, and you tap the rune on the box before Scamp can.
I'm not even trying to race. It's Celestia's turn.
Right, Celestia's turn to press the button this time.
Celestia, you come in, you push the button, the door gives a sort of sound, and once again there's a sort of vibration from the glass. The little box with the silver in it begins to heat up rapidly, and at the point when that whole chamber is devoid of air, there is a the vaporized silver sprays across the entire everything in the chamber, including the mirror shine polished flat tin disc, coating it in an almost monomolecular thin surface of silver. You now have I'm going to say perfectly polished, perfectly smooth and reflective silver, tin backed, I should say, silver mirror.
Excellent.
Yay. Doesn't need a layer of glass over it. Is that what we still need to do?
I think so.
Yeah, and it's a proper mirror, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's interesting that I'm going to put. I guess at this point, Shanty or Victory would be as good a person to put to kick. I think Shanty will kick in here and say, I mean, I'm no expert in making mirrors. Like, I'm literally not an expert in glassworking of any kind or making mirrors, but like, it's as shiny as any mirror I've ever seen.
Is it protected enough? Is it going to be alright if we stick it in the light?
Yeah, like that thing. Well, you saw what it did to the belaying pin. That's a very, very thin layer of silver on that. Are we sure it won't just burn off?
Nope.
Should we coat something else in silver and stick it in and see what happens?
Yes.
I mean, if we've got something random we can do that with, yeah, absolutely.
Jeffrey,
let's
what?
see what we got here.
Let's put a bucket in, not my bucket.
All right, you put one of the other buckets in. I'll say you repeat like after carefully. Well, yeah, you carefully remove the silvered tin disc.
I mean, again, I could just put a bit of like lead shot in there. We don't need to waste any of the stuff we have.
Bucket.
Lug in a new bucket. Put in another of the silver ingots, and again,
Bucket
starting
looks
the whole
accusingly
process.
at you.
I let you press this button.
It's just very sad.
You now have a monomolecularly covered, shiny silver bucket. Like you can literally scrape. You could literally scrape the silver off with a nail. Interestingly, the bucket itself does not appear to be have been heated in any way. Nor is, except by, I guess, exposure to just like a fine layer of scalding, of momentarily scalding silver vapor. But nevertheless, but yeah, it seems to be the silver that gets all the heating from this.
Right, let's stick it in the light and see what happens.
Chuck it in the beam
Alright.
of light. See if it dies.
So my question
Use
is:
one of the longer sticks.
Are you lifting it by hand? Are you lifting it by magic?
We could fling it through and see
I
if
think
it
we're putting it.
gets
Let's just throw it.
Just throw it.
Okay, yeah. I was going to suggest get one of the long sticks, put it in the
But then
bottom
the
of the
stick
bucket, and
will
just
burn up.
hold it in the thing.
Was there any reason the stick won't burn up?
Wait. What are you putting in? Are you putting in the mirror disc, or are you trying to hurl the
bucket.
mirrored bucket? Okay.
Just throw the mirror bucket so it goes through the light.
Yeah.
Give it a throw.
Let's try that.
Who wants to do that?
I want to,
Corzin.
All right.
but I'm not going to because I'm rubbish at throwing. Corzin should do it.
All right.
Well, I don't recommend any. All right, everyone, get around this side. Then I am going to attempt to just punt it through the pillar of light.
Okay. You fling the bucket through.
It's very safe.
Dexterity, or is this
Oh,
even
this
a thing I
doesn't
need to
require
roll for?
dexterity. But while you're at it, give me a dex save, please. And
Dex save. Okay.
everyone else, give me a dex save with advantage, because you were all taking cover.
Natural 1, but lucky.
We suck.
23.
We're idiots.
Loads. Sorry.
That
Out of
is
brain.
15.
24.
Right, here we go. Huh.
Do a forward roll
Okay.
for no reason. I'll just do one.
I'm going to say then that... Let's just pick some numbers here.
Uh-oh.
Alright, so you managed to get that.
You mean throwing it wasn't a good idea?
8 plus 8 plus 3. That'll do.
Why did any of you listen to Celestia?
So Scamp got a 15. I'm going to say that
Yeah.
Shanty and Jeffrey didn't even come into the room hearing this plan.
No, because they've got more sense.
Just stayed well out of sight.
Did Victory join us?
Victory did, and was not as quick. And just actually, no, Advantage also took cover. Still not that quick. So also takes damage here. Okay, so
We suck.
I'll tell you the damage and then I'll tell you what happens. So Victory and Scamp both take 19 points of radiant damage.
Oh no.
And
Oh, because it
Celestia
refracted everywhere.
and
Oh,
Corzin
Yeah, of course it did.
are both going to take
Which I thought
9
about
points
as
of
I was
damage.
suggesting it. I was like, don't
radiant
care
damage.
enough. I want to
So-
throw a bucket.
How
through.
many?
9 for you and Corzin.
9.
So, Corzin,
Yep.
it is very
so few
much
hit points.
the placement of the way that the bucket spins is what saves you as you see what's happening. Because, as mentioned, half the bucket, the side that was not, close to 2/3, 3/4 of the bucket, essentially, the bit of the bucket that was not indeed, actually, I'll say it was on the ground, so most of the bucket is covered in, like, a fine layer of silver. One part of the bucket, the base of it, is not. That part is still just, regular white ceramic. That is the part that does not immediately reflect light.
Okay.
And very fortunately, that is the part that is turning towards you as the bucket spins end over end, flying into the pillar of light.
29 radiant damage was that?
9 radiant damage.
Oh, 9 radiant
Yeah,
damage,
you
sorry.
got lucky.
Phew.
So, as you hurl out of the, as you hurl yourself out of the way, you do, however, get the best view of the bucket tumbling end over end into the light. The silver, the reflective silver surface, does indeed reflect the shimmering golden beam of death. It is a curved and very uneven surface because it's basically a silver coating over ceramic.
A bucket.
It's a
Yep.
ceramic
A bucket,
bucket.
yeah.
So apart from being quite a curved and complex object to begin with, it's also like covered in like mottled texture. So the light reflects and refracts in every which way, essentially momentarily flooding the room and the atrium with deadly golden rays.
We have created a shitty disco ball of death.
Indeed.
Yeah, no, I see what we might have done wrong here.
Why does anyone ever listen to me?
And your flesh chars and bobbles where the light briefly connects.
Yeah. No, this was a bad idea.
I didn't enjoy that.
You mostly get out of the way, but the brief moment of exposure is scalding and blistering. The bucket is briefly swallowed by the light, briefly reflects the light until the end that's tumbling tumbles into the path of the light, and you can very briefly glimpse a sight of the white ceramic being heated up and then consumed and essentially disintegrated by the golden light. As it is carried through, it smashes against the far wall, already half destroyed and crumbling into fragments of white ceramic pieces and silvery dust.
Maybe we need glass.
I think that would be a reasonable conclusion at this point, says Corzin, picking himself back up off the floor.
The silver bit was all right.
What?
Like this, it only exploded because the ceramic got in it.
If you want to cover
burn off
Jeffrey
the
in
ceramic.
silver and thrust him into the thing and see if the silver stays on, you're welcome to go ahead and do that.
Oh, but like
Jeffrey gestures
the
to
silver
you
on
and
the bucket
silver.
didn't come off when it was just hitting the light.
That's a good point.
So if we put the mirror in, it's completely covered.
I mean, we'd give it a crack and see if it lasts, couldn't we?
I mean, where do we want to direct the lights? That's the question.
Dunno.
Back at the source, perhaps? It's the safest place other than just, like, burning a random part of this room.
Or is there something that opens if you hit it with the fancy light?
Looking around.
Glancing around, the only obvious thing apart from the rooms is the doorway out. And of course, wherever the light is currently shining up into, which you can't really see the chamber above, because there's the death light shining into it.
I mean,
Yeah.
we could shine it down.
Yeah. Should we just
Worth
try
a
it?
try.
Shove it in and see what happens.
So, how are you trying to move the mirror in place?
With telekinesis.
Yeah, I don't think that this
Leave
is
the
one we want to
room.
be risking our fingers on.
I think leaving the room's a really good idea.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything you can really do to give yourself advantage here, obviously, except for the fact that Tides is currently dormant.
Oh my god, you're so good at telekinesis. Yeah, inspiration.
Thank you.
Cool. In which case,
Except I don't say oh my god, I say something else. Oh my god, put an S on it. There we
I
go.
am going to ask you to very carefully make an Arcana check, please.
I will use tides because let's not roll a 1.
That seems reasonable. Did I not put the tides
Okay.
thing off? Yes, I did.
That is a 25.
Okay.
I rolled a 19.
Tides are now active. You very carefully raise up the tin-backed silver mirror, turn it over so it's facing directly down, and moving it carefully over the light until it's like next to the light beam. Begin to move it perfectly levelly over the beam. There's a couple of moments where it's not exactly perfectly level, and you see as the light shines up, it refracts slightly to one side, but you're correct. Before essentially the laser beam of death floods out and onto
Death
you.
ray.
Until you raise the mirror over it. You can now see the light seems to intensify as it reflects straight back at the source and gets brighter and brighter, and you hear a sort of sound building.
This seems like it's going to explode or break.
This-
I wonder what will happen first.
Feels extremely safe. It's a good noise though.
Your current, how high off as it were, the ground do you hold it? Like, how much light do you leave exposed? Because it's getting increasingly hard to see, just from how bright
I
the
will
column is getting.
lower it slightly to try and make that lesser thing.
You lower it down and down. It gets brighter and brighter until you kind of just let it stop. And the ground continues to sort of gently vibrate underneath. But as you let the mirror go, it just sort of caps it, and the whole area suddenly feels dark. It's not dark. It's not dark. There is ambient light coming in. There's the bit of flame from the fire column room, but
We were used to the big pillar of light.
but without the blinding pillar of light here, it's
Total eclipse.
yeah. It feels like it's just suddenly eclipsed. There is just this.
Right. I guess that
Well done,
means we
Scamp.
can fight the thing now. What do we think?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Do we think we have to? Probably.
I feel like that's kind of the whole point, isn't it?
Staring up into the chamber, into the sort of chimney above, you can see there is. You can now just faintly make out from the light reflecting down from it, from the outside. There was another mirror placed there, reflecting the beam to go outwards. You are able to find. And you can see. Yeah, that is. Can I ask for a perception check from anyone, please?
Sure.
Sure. Sight-based?
Yes. Though, to be honest, I'm actually tempted to say. I'm almost tempted to say without your advantage, Corzin, because you were particularly, even though you were off to one side, you've been particularly hit by the sudden light changes and the blistering light.
Okay, well, in the interest of fair play, then I will say that I rolled 2 dice there. It's not much of a difference between either of them, but one of them was a natural 20.
Okay.
The lower of the two would be a 26.
Even without the blistering, even without the natural 20, and even with the glaring light sort of giving you weird sort of full body sunspot sort of sensations, you are still able to see the little ledge or hole, like a little pigeonhole underneath the mirror, recessed into the wall.
Well, we should go check that.
Yeah, it's a little high up, but I'm going to say you've still got telekinesis running, so it's a simple.
Up we'll go.
It's a simple enough manner to just lift someone or something up and go investigate. You find what appear to be a pair of silvery, sort of like knee length, or maybe slightly. Interestingly, they appear to be a pair of knee-length silvery boots with buckles attached to them, made of the same sort of silver metal as the limbs that you found.
Well, these are kind of cool. Does they look
Does
like
someone with feet want to try them on?
do they look like they fit any of us?
Interestingly, the interior of them is odd. They're like little. They look, upon examination, like they shouldn't fit anyone, because the interiors appear to be like little cylinders going straight down without an obvious place to put your foot into.
Are these hoof boots?
Hoof boots.
Well, they don't look like they've got a place for a foot, darling.
What is strange, though, is that despite being made of metal, they feel like, well, leather or maybe flesh or hide. Like, they move in a sort of fabric or tanned leather sort of way in your hands.
That's the weirdest set of slippers I've ever seen.
I want to put them on.
Put them on.
Try it.
Okay, as you
Is that alright? Do you mind, Victory? Because otherwise you've got hoofs too.
as you slide your hooves in, you feel the metal sort of mold comfortably around them. Like enough that you almost get a feeling like if someone with feet put them in, they would probably do the same. You see that there's little buckles you can sort of clasp into place. Do you have any attunement slots free?
Nope.
You get a sense that, well, first of all, these feel like some of the most comfortable, weirdly, the most comfortable, I guess, leg wear you've ever worn. It feels like a second skin. In fact, it literally feels like a second skin. You realise you can feel like air through them, like just like the currents of air or ambient temperature. When you put the boots on the ground, you can feel the ground through the soles of the boots, as if you had feet. You giving them a straight, like you tilt. You move them a little, and experimentally you're able to move the ends of the toes as if you had toes.
Ugh, I don't like that.
It's very strange because those are muscles and experiences you do not personally have.
Nope, do not like this.
Nevertheless, you get a further sense that there might be a way to magically attune with these, but you are personally sort of chakra'd out, as it were. But yeah, there is definitely some impressive magic going on here.
And they don't look like anyone else could fit in them.
They don't look like anyone else could fit in them. They honestly didn't look like Scamp could fit in them. But,
I'd read it as it's for a hoof person.
But Scamp, you get the feeling after putting them in that maybe anyone could put their feet in these.
Yeah, anyone could wear these, I think.
There we go.
They want, like, connecting to, but I'm a bit tapped out on that. I could have, like, if anyone else has got a free spot.
I mean, lost something quite significant recently. So actually...
Yeah, give it a go then.
Okay. You...
By the way, Sam,
footwear.
I'm only suggesting this because Corzin has boots he's quite attached to.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I assumed you wouldn't want them, but correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
You unbuckle and peel off the boots, regaining it, losing the strange sensation of having feet, and regaining your sensation of having hooves again. Celestia, you have to take your boots off to put these ones on, but yeah, it's weird. As you put your foot in, you feel like you're about to run out of space, and then the bottom of the boot almost yields to allow your feet to go in, like strange moving metal, and the whole thing just hugs to your leg.
Well, I guess they're still, pretty silver boots. So.
Yeah, you have some fine, just above the knee, sort of knee-length silver boots now that buckle on. And yeah, again, you can feel through them like they're second skin.
Ooh.
You will need to rest for some time to attune to these, to figure out what the magical effect is. You could do that over, I think, a short rest, and we'll discuss over time what effect that is.
This is a weird feeling. Kind of fun.
I'd imagine it'd be even weirder if you weren't used to having toes.
Yeah, not a fan of those.
And we will discuss, and you'll find out after you next take a short rest exactly what the effects of that are, which you do have the opportunity to do. But as you, having successfully disabled the beam of killing light, and for the statue, healing light, and successfully recovered everything out, and you have now pretty much explored the last of these laboratories. Armed with the wands in hand, you head back down to retrieve the powder, to fill up your choice of powders and liquids in the bellows of doom. Preparing for a return once more to the silver statue, steel statue before the gate. But as it is late, we are going to commence next time with any revelations about those silver boots and with that particular confrontation. Next time on Flintlocks and Fireballs. So thank you all very much for playing. Thank you all very much for listening. And farewell from all of us here at Flintlocks and Fireballs. Fair seas and natural 20s. Oh, and by the way, one last thing, actually, before I'll do it. I'll do it again. The reason you want to use glass is that tin is astonishingly soft.
Huh.
Like, it's really easy to scratch tin.
Huh.
You just, you'd have ruined
it's extra
the
protection
mirror.
for that rather than burning off. Thank you. I was wondering.
Yeah, you'd have ruined the mirror if you fumbled it at any point.
That is cool.
Yeah, you can...
very cool.
Float glass is a technique where you pour molten glass onto a perfectly level tin bath.
Water.
And then, because tin is... glass is less dense than tin, you can get it off and has a slightly lower, slightly different, higher melting point. You can cool the glass enough to take it off the tin. And then you
because I was going to ask about the relative melting temperature of glass versus silver.
Yeah, then you would polish it, then you would get it silver sprayed and take it in. That was sort of the way. But yeah, it would just about worked with that. So, well done. Anyway, farewell from all of us here at Flintlocks and Fireballs, fair seas, and natural 20s. Polish to a mirror shine, reflector beam to blow your mind. Metal limbs and acid clouds. Is this just how my life goes now?
So gather your muskets, gather your spears, we'll plunder the shores of Calcinea. No kraken, storm or spell we fear, so come and sail with us, my dear.